OK, so we are 8 to kick off at Turf Moor. We've covered off Burnley. Blackburn themselves had a lively old deadline day yesterday, including signing Todd Cantwell from Rangers, Mickey Gray. Is John Eustace the manager to finally unlock all of that potential?
Well, I believe, look, he's a talented player, Chris, there's no doubt about that. I think when he broke onto the scene at Norwich, everybody thought he was going to go to the very top. For one reason or another, over the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's kind of been here, there, everywhere. I believe he's not got the greatest of attitudes away from football. So that's certainly what managers, when they bring him into a club, have got to try and fix. If they can fix that with somebody like Todd Cantwell, you've got a really talented player on your hands. You know, if he plays in those advanced positions, if you like, he can see a pass, he can certainly score a goal. We know that from his time at Norwich and from Rangers as well. But I think at times in his career, he just seems to switch off for a month, maybe a couple of months, and kind of loses his way a little bit. If they can sort his attitude out, they've got a very good player on their hands. Yeah, I mean, there was once a time, Mickey, I remember sitting in a pub having a debate with a mate who would achieve more, Jack Grealish or Todd Cantwell. That was how much potential he had at the time. And at the moment, well, there's only one winner in that debate. Let's have a little look at how Blackburn have been doing. They made a really slow start under John Eustace when he took over in the middle of last season. But since he got his first win, I think it was on the 1st of April, no Championship club has won more points than Blackburn Rovers. What is it that he does so well at Ewood Park? Yeah, 18 points, isn't it? I think in the last 10 games that he's been in charge. So, look, I mean, that's a great return, isn't it? I mean, John did a brilliant job at Birmingham. I think everybody was surprised when he lost his job, but I think, you know, for one reason or another, we knew why he lost his job. When he first walked into the door at Blackburn, he'd lost Lewis Travis, who'd been loaned out to Ipswich, and I think Lewis coming back to Blackburn was it's like a new signing. Because Lewis he's got that physical presence about him. He's a big character in the dressing room, and I think John was searching around to find his best 11. Had to put younger players into the starting 11, but when he got that formula and Sammy Smodics to boot as well, I think it just started to work for him. He's a calming influence. I was at the game in midweek when they lost to Blackpool, but he came in the press conference at the end of the game, and he just answered everything in a calm way. And I think if he speaks the way he manages, you can understand why he gets results in this league.
Yeah, unbeaten start in the Championship. They were knocked out of the EFL Cup by Blackpool in midweek 2-1. Unwanted, but then again, probably that competition is fairly unwanted for them. Joe, we mentioned they lost Sammy Smodics and all of his goals, and they've looked to replace him with not just one player. Yuki Ahashiu's on the bench today, and Maktar Gay. Both of them seem to have hit the ground running.
Absolutely, and actually they've spread the goals across the team so far this season, haven't they? Blackburn Rovers, 7 different scorers. That's a joint high in the Championship, and it really does bode well. I mean, Sammy Smodics, as you say, was outstanding last season, but when he scored nearly 50% of their league goals, they knew they'd have to try something different. Ahashi's been excellent so far, 2 in his first 2 games on the bench today. Maktar Gay has got the nod. He's scored twice in his first 5 appearances for Blackburn Rovers, both in the League Cup. And I think when you look at his physicality on a day like today, 6'5", great hold-up player. Mickey and I were saying off air earlier on, Chris, that I think that's why he's probably been given the nod today.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about the stats, the history of the East Lancs rivalry, and recent history has all been claret because Blackburn have had a rotten record. They haven't won since 2010, and both sides were in the Premier League. How have things changed, Mickey?
Well, I think you have to bring the Venky's into this conversation, don't you? I think since they walked through the door at Blackburn Rovers, things have just gone drastically wrong. Into the Championship, into League One, had to bounce back into the Championship, but they look as if they're on the way up now. It's been a kind of a recruitment club over the last 4 or 5 seasons. I thought Tony Mowbray stabilised the football club a little bit, give younger players an opportunity and got the best out of them. John knows that there's still work to be done at this club, and if he gets it right, it's a great club to get it right at.
Well, that enormous roar can mean only one thing: the players are ready to come out on the field. So I'm going to hand over to you, Joe Shennan and Mickey Gray. My first question before you pick up, though, is how will this match be won and lost?
Well, win the physical battle the first 10 or 15 minutes and earn the right to play, and when you get your opportunities, make sure you take them.
Take it away, Joe Shennan.
Chris, thank you, and good afternoon to you on a bright and sunny Derby day in East Lancashire. The 2 teams have taken to the field, Blackburn in the royal blue and white, and Burnley in the claret and sky blue to that great East Lancashire roar. Two founder members of the Football League, two towns that sit just 11 miles apart, Burnley and Blackburn, once again going head-to-head in a fixture with a rich history and so often guaranteed drama. We know that Scott Parker is in situ at Turf Moor. In fact, he's striding from one corner of the field away to the right where the dressing rooms are, across the pitch to the Bob Lord stand where the dugouts are on the far side of the field. This year, he's going for a hat-trick of promotions to the Premier League as a manager, and there is quiet optimism, as you've been hearing at Blackburn, after an unbeaten start to the league campaign. Hopes of looking up rather than down the table this season. But there's no question that over recent years, the Clarets have dominated Rovers. Today, Burnley go for an historic 7 straight wins over their local rivals. They have Trafford in goal, Roberts, Worrell, Esteve and Lucas Perez at the back, debutant Laurent in the holding role, Koleosho, Brownhill, Hannibal and debutant Anthony behind Foster up front. For Blackburn, Pears is the goalkeeper, Britton, Carter, Hyam and Beck a debutant at the back, Travis and Tronstad holding, Vyman, Dolan and Hedges behind Gay up front. Mickey Gray, a lot of big game players in those starting 11s.
Oh, without a doubt, Joe, and you need big characters in a derby like this. It's really fiery. The atmosphere is certainly stoked up before kick-off as well, and it's who wants it the most. Burnley will hate that record, will love that record, I beg your pardon, against Blackburn Rovers at the moment. 6 out of 6. They want to try and make it that magnificent 7 if they possibly can, but what a start Blackburn Rovers have made to the championship season.
Well, it's absolutely packed here at Turf Moor to the rafters. 22,000 or so, 2,000 Blackburn fans away to the right-hand side in that away end that is split between home and away supporters. And over in the distance, the cricket club behind the goal to the right-hand side, and then the lush green Lancashire Hills in the distance. It's a fabulous setting. Mickey, you played, of course, for Blackburn, didn't feature in an East Lancashire derby. Of course, Rovers were in the Premier League for your time there, and Burnley was still in the Championship at this stage, but I'm sure you got a sense of just how much this fixture means.
No, without a doubt, how the tables have turned, but you're right, whenever these two sides come together, it's always fiery. You know, you want those bragging rights. It's like any derby, isn't it, Joe? But I think, you know, it's no different for Burnley or Blackburn. You want to go out there, you want to beat your fiercest rivals, you want to have one up on them. You know, I'm sure they've got friends who are supporting either side, and you want to have those bragging rights if you possibly can. But look, it's a great game. I've been to these games, I've watched these derby games, and I love to have been involved in it, and I wish I was down there today.
Well, Blackburn have won the toss and chosen to change ends. So Burnley will be attacking the Jimmy McElroy stand in the first half, playing from right to left, and Blackburn attacking the away end, playing from left to right. In the bright sunshine, and for the supporters, nothing means more than getting one over your local rivals. The game is richer for its rivalries, and in English football, this is one of the longest lasting. In competitive matches, it goes back 136 years. It is Burnley against Blackburn Rovers, the 105th East Lancashire derby, and we are off and underway on Talksport 2. We'll keep you up to date with all of the 12:30 kickoffs around the grounds around the country, including Arsenal against Brighton live right now over on Talksport. But our focus here on Turf Moor, as Trafford's clearance is a poor one, straight to Andy Vyman, who goes for goal, and it's just over the top. From fully 40 yards, Trafford, the goalkeeper, backpedaling and nearly beaten from huge range inside the first 30 seconds. What a start that would have been for Burnley, Mickey Gray.
Well, I have to say, James Trafford is a really fortunate man because he doesn't get his clearance right. And Andy Vyman, you give him half a yard in front of him and he just has that quick look up. He knows Trafford's off his line, and it's so unlucky, isn't it? 40 yards out. Lovely little lob just over the crossbar. What a start to the game.
Blackburn Rovers are unbeaten in the Championship so far this season. Played 3, won 2, drawn 1, and without a defeat so far. Little flick by Maktar Gay down the middle for them. Chasing is Tyrese Dolan. Joe Worrell on his home debut, big centre-half. Sees it back to Trafford, whose clearance is sliced, right-footed, out of play. And it's a throw to Blackburn Rovers on the near side of the field, their right-back position. Blackburn, as I say, in their traditional colours, the away team, the blue and white hard shirts, white shorts and royal blue socks, and for Burnley, the home team, claret and sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks. Great roar goes up as Luca Koleosho charges down a clearance on the far side of the field, right in front of Scott Parker, looking smartly dressed in a sharp suit and tie as ever, Scott Parker. And he spoke before the game in the build-up, didn't he, Mickey, about having played in derby matches before. He may be new as the Burnley manager, but he knows just what it means to come up against your great rivals on derby day.
Absolutely, and he'll want his side to get on the front foot as quick as they possibly can. He's a fiery character in that midfield area, Scott, as a player, wasn't he? I think he's pretty similar in the technical area as well, albeit he's got great success in this division. But you see that high press straight away from Koleosho, Jayden Anthony and Lyle Foster. They're not giving these Burnley backline players a second on the ball.
Burnley 0, Blackburn 0. Live on Talksport 2, exclusive to national radio. And we've got more EFL commentary for you coming across the weekend. Sheffield United against Watford tomorrow at 3. Salford against MK Dons in League 2 on Monday night. And of course at 3 o'clock this afternoon from the Premier League, we've got commentary of Everton against Bournemouth. But for now, the East Lancashire derby very much our focus. A fixture that Blackburn Rovers haven't won since March 2010. David Dunn on this ground with the winner when these two were Premier League clubs. Little flick by Hannibal, formerly of Manchester United, making his home debut today. It'll be intercepted on that far side of the field by Owen Beck. It's Blackburn's new left back, the low knee. He's conceded possession though. Burnley have won it back up the pitch. Foster, edge of the box to Brownhill, back towards Foster, sliding into clear. Coming across from that back line position is Owen Beck. He had to dart across into the centre, the Liverpool low knee. Burnley have got it back. There are Burnley supporters out of their seats in front of us to urge the team on, but that ball threaded up the inside left channel won't reach Jayden Anthony, and it's out of play for a goal kick to Blackburn Rovers. 3.5 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Blackburn 0 on Talksport 2, and here's Mickey Gray.
Well, as I mentioned, what a fantastic start to the game. We know it nearly got a wonder goal after about 20 seconds. Burnley, this high press as well, nearly working for them yet again, but since then it's been the home side who've been on top. This high press is really causing this Blackburn line problems. Owen Beck in that full-back position, he'll want to get off to a good start. Sometimes, Joe, this might sound silly, but let the ball just run out of place. Try to keep it in. He's got no teammates around him, and that give Burnley the opportunity just to pounce on them.
Hyam will roll it back to goalkeeper Pears, under pressure from Foster, and Pears has to hammer the ball high up into the bright blue sky. It's headed away by Maxime Esteve for Burnley. So many changes over the summer window for Burnley, 20 or so senior players leaving the club, but I tell you what, they've still ended up with a squad that feels more than capable of challenging for an instant return to the Premier League. And in Scott Parker, they have a head coach who has done it twice in the past, earning promotion to the top flight. The ball is on the halfway line with Burnley's Laurent. First touch on his debut. Back to Worrell, midway inside his own half the field. And Laurent, again, a former Stoke City captain, out to the far side with the pass to find Koleosho, who darts infield from the right-hand channel, plays it backwards and across to Esteve. And Esteve will steer the ball down the near side of the Burnley left. And Jayden Anthony, the Bournemouth low knee, knows Scott Parker well from their time together on the south coast. Burnley looking for the opening goal of the derby game. Lucas Pires, the Brazilian left-back, back to Worrell at the lip of the centre circle. Poor ball forward from him, only half cleared away by Beck. And are they targeting the young man, I wonder, on his Blackburn debut today? Not a great deal of experience at the upper echelons of English football. And now a snapshot from Lucas Pires. He's sliced over the top from the edge of the penalty area. Burnley making the early headway. 5 gone 0-0.
Well, the worst part of that move, Joe, was the finish at the end from Lucas Pires. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic from left to right from Burnley. Koleosho looks a real live wire today, doesn't he? Wants to get on the ball as much as he can. But those little intricate passes around the edge of the 18-yard box, they're certainly working for the home team so far.
Elsewhere in the Championship today, Cardiff against Middlesbrough. Cardiff, who start bottom of the table. And Coventry against Norwich, who are still looking for their first league win of the new season. Still 0-0 in both of those matches. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0 is live right now over on Talksport. Make sure you download our app. It's free and easy to download, and that way you can swipe between both stations at your leisure. Adrian Durham will take you around the grounds on Talksport for all the goals as they go in from 2:30. That's followed by the game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Burnley 0, Blackburn 0. Blackburn have a throw. Halfway line, far side, right in front of the away dugout. Beck will hurl it long towards the 6'5" Gay, and he flicks it square into the path of Dolan. Could drop for Hedges on the corner of the penalty area. There was a foul earlier on in that move, possibly by the Burnley frontman Gay. Blackburn's new number 9, and Burnley clear from the resulting free kick. A slide tackle by Laurent to send the ball into Blackburn territory. Laurent on the halfway line is now caught in possession, but he steps in to win it back. Electric pace at the start of this game as it's clattered forward into the Burnley penalty area, long from Hayden Carter of Blackburn Rovers. Goalkeeper Trafford immediately bowls the ball out. Burnley have it back again, and there are Burnley fans all around us in the commentary position, Mickey, right at the back of this north stand. A steep drop to the touchline below, and the Burnley fans are kicking and heading every ball in front of us.
Yeah, well, they're at it, aren't they? They've got that 12th man. The atmosphere in this stadium today is electric, but they're just that split second quicker at the moment, Burnley, aren't they? They're trying to get on the ball, they're trying to make things happen, whereas Blackburn are just expecting it. They're waiting for Burnley to cause them problems in that final third. You talk about that challenge as well at the back from the Burnley defenders. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. That's what you need to see in a game like this. I talked about winning that battle.
Now Hannibal is crossing the dead ball line, but it's going to drop out of play before he was able to wrap his right foot around it on that far side of the field, close to where the assistant referee was standing just behind him, and it did go out to play, and so it will be a goal kick to Blackburn. Blackpool 0, Wickham 0 and Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0 in the early kickoffs in League One. Gillingham and Chesterfield and Port Vale against Doncaster, both goalless in League Two. Here is Tronstad for Blackburn, back to the feet of Hyam, the Scottish centre-half. Square ball to Carter, who'll roll it back to goalkeeper Pears again. Blackburn are determined to play the ball out of the defensive third. Back it goes to the goalkeeper once more. Burnley pressing very high up the pitch. Hannibal at times is like a second striker alongside Foster, and Blackburn have had to clatter the ball long, and Burnley win it back straight away, 0-0.
Yeah, it's bold and brave, isn't it, from Scott Parker's men, pushing his players as high up the pitch as much as they possibly can, because they know that Blackburn will want to play out from the back, and they're just waiting for that one mistake, and then you've got 3 or 4 bodies in the opposition's half to create those chances for yourself.
Burnley playing from right to left in the first half towards the traditional home end of the stadium, that 2-tiered Jimmy McElroy end of the ground, and then away to our right. The away end, if you like, is split between home and away supporters. Brad Hill, the captain, lovely back heel into the path of Anthony on the underlap. Has he got the pace to beat Britain? It's a great cross. Foster hits it in. What a start for Burnley! Lyle Foster has them off and running. Are they on the way to yet another Derby Day victory? Where was the marking from a Blackburn perspective? Foster all alone, 6 yards out, he couldn't miss. Burnley 1, Blackburn 0. Turf Moor has gone crazy.
Well, you've got to say that the home side have thoroughly deserved to take the lead in this game. It's brilliant play from Anthony down this left-hand side. What a way to settle in to your new football club. Taking on full-back, puts a brilliant ball into the box. And Lyle Foster's just got to guide it towards goal. And he keeps it down, he does everything right. Gives Pears absolutely no chance, but the pace on the flanks, the cross is brilliant. Pears going the other way. I'd love to see this again, Joe. I don't know what you think, but I actually think that Anthony was in an offside position when he picked the ball up. I might be wrong, but look, there's no VAR, thank goodness, because it's a brilliant goal and we don't want that chalked off. But what a start for Burnley.
A free header for Lyle Foster, and how he obliged. Burnley lead Blackburn by 1-0. And Foster, he half took his shirt off in the celebrations that followed. I don't think he was yellow carded, Foster there. Just about kept his shirt on, and Burnley lead by 1-0. They have a vice-like grip on this fixture, and they take an early lead on East Lancashire Derby Day. And are those Blackburn fans going to experience heartache against their local rivals all over again? There's a long way to go, as Blackburn win a free kick, almost straight from kick-off in the right wing position. This is in a dangerous area for them. But where was the marking, Mickey?
Yeah. I mean, if you can see a wide player is going to get the better of your fullback, Joe, as a centre-half, you're looking over your shoulder, you're thinking, right, where's Lyle Foster? He's the main man, he's the target man, I've got to get closer to him. He was in between the two centre-halves, nobody anywhere near him. He must have been thinking, thank you very much, what an opportunity. And when he saw Pears diving over to his left-hand side, just had to guide it into the goal.
Beck and Britton standing over this free kick, right wing position, yard or so infield from the near side touchline for Blackburn. Britton delivers high right footed, and it's going to be nodded behind by Hyam. It'll be a goal kick to Burnley away to our right hand side. Blackpool 0, Wycombe 1 is the latest score in League 1. Gillingham, top of League 2, lead Chesterfield by 1-0. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0 in the Premier League, live over on Talksport right now. But it's Burnley who, as it stands, not only do they lead, and not only are they going to be in line for those bragging rights, if you like, but they'll be top of the Championship, at least temporarily, with a victory this lunchtime too. Brownhill seizes upon a loose ball. He started the move that led to the only goal of the game so far. Koleosho far side the right, taking on Beck, heading for the dead ball line. He's sandwiched in between two blue and white shirts, and he's won a corner on the far side of the field. Burnley leading 1-0, and they very much have the advantage here, Mickey Gray.
Without a doubt, and they're going to have to figure a way out, Blackburn, to get themselves into this game and get a stranglehold at some point, because it could easily run away from them, Joe. Because if Burnley get a second, the floodgates could open, because they are at it today. Brownhill's been outstanding. The two wide players, and Foster, I mean, he's already got one goal. He could add to that.
Corners on the far side of the field, plenty of height in this Burnley side. Worrell and Esteva both forward. It's into the 6-yard box, and a thumping header clear by Hyam. The ball has dropped to the midway point of the Blackburn half, easily retrieved by Connor Roberts of Burnley. He will steer the ball square into the path of Hannibal, who tries to float a high crossfield ball, and it's headed away. Not the best of headers by Vyman, as you heard from the ironic cheers. Didn't go very far, straight out of play for a throw in this brilliant East Lancashire sunshine. It's almost a cloudless sky and the green hills away in the distance. And if you're a Burnley fan, it's been a super first 13 minutes. They lead Blackburn 1-0, and Lyle Foster has now scored his first goal of the season. You wouldn't believe the freedom of the 6-yard box, or the edge of the 6-yard box, that he had to score it, but he put it away very nicely. No chance for Pears in goal.
Yeah, certainly when you Lyle Foster as a centre forward in a game like this, Joey. I mean, you're praying and you're hoping that you get an opportunity in front of goal from 7 or 8 yards out from a wonderful cross. Well, that's exactly what's happened, and it's just reward. Scott set his team up in a really advanced way, and it's working for them. You see 4 players now as the build-up. They're already in advance, and they're just putting pressure on Blackburn. Whenever they get the opportunity to get that ball into those wide areas, use the pace and the quality of the wingers, they're having their joy.
Ball out to the right-hand side now by Hannibal to find Koleosho. Got the pace to take on Becky. Scampers infield, does Koleosho. Corner of the penalty area, only half away by Travis retreating. The loose ball has dropped to Koleosho to deliver towards Foster again. Headed up into the air and away from danger by Hyam at the expense of another Burnley corner. And John Eustace looks agitated in his technical area, the Blackburn manager, well aware that a second goal, even at this early stage, would it put the game beyond them, I wonder, Mickey?
Well, it's the worst possible start. You're coming to one of your fiercest rivals, you find yourself a goal down after 10 minutes, and the atmosphere and all the momentum was with the home team at the moment. He's scratching his head wondering what he needs to do.
Lucas Perez will take it again. It'll be another left-footed in-swinging corner. High to the edge of the 6-yard box. Worrell went up for it, and he was blocked off as he tried to head it goalwards. Scrambled further clear by Dolan up to the halfway line. Only goalkeeper Trafford is in the Burnley half, and Trafford will clip a high long ball downfield. Worrell has stayed forward, heads it across goal. Hyam is there to head it away again, and it's flicked further away by Britton for Blackburn, who are really on the defensive here early on. Trailing by 1-0, and Burnley look really fired up in these early stages. Anthony's blocked off, but it's come down to Brownhill 25 yards out. Tries to wriggle away from another blue and white shirt. Now it's dropped to Lucas Perez. Out to the left, and Foster, who's peeled into the wing position. Foster goes backwards 10 yards to Roberts, and now here is Esteve in the centre circle. Burnley keeping possession very effectively so far, and even more proactive when they don't have the ball. Won it back so quickly on so many occasions.
Yeah, they certainly have, Joe, haven't they? They're just not letting Blackburn have a breather. When they get the opportunity to get that ball forward, you know, they're not letting the wide players or the forward players down. They're firing the ball into them. The movement around the 18-yard area has been excellent so far in the game. And talk about John Eustace, he's trying to get information onto his players. You know, does he need to change the system? I think you look at Owen Beck in that left-back position, needs a little bit of help. He's not getting it right now.
And Blackburn have got a free kick on the halfway line. They can slow the game down at least temporarily. In front of that Bob Lord stand on the far side of the field. The Lancashire lad Lewis Travis, the captain, will just place the ball down and he'll let Hyam come forward to take it. Blackburn very deliberately, I think, slowing the game down. Trailing already by a goal to nil. Live here on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL, live and exclusive national radio commentaries from the EFL are only with us. Callum Britton infield from the right back position for Blackburn, who switched the play following the free kick. Blackburn have then given it away. Britton with a clumsy ball towards Vyman on the halfway line, and Burnley are sharper and quicker to every second ball really at the moment. Former Blackburn defender Mickey Gray.
Well, it's like a hot potato. Whenever any Blackburn players got the ball, they just can't wait to get rid of it, Joe, and they're making too many mistakes. Burnley are capitalising on that. They're using their experience, their know-how. And whenever they win that ball, you can see they're looking for Brownhill. They're looking to get it to Koleosho and Anthony. And when they do it, they're on that half turn, trying to break into the opposition's half. Excellent start.
Burnley have had some great moments over Blackburn in recent seasons, most memorably perhaps winning the championship title at Ewood in April of 2023. Of course, last season in the Premier League was very much a disappointment, but one small consolation was that it did bring the return of this fixture to Turf Moor once again. Roberts has given it away for Burnley, but Gay can't hold up the ball for Blackburn Rovers. And now Foster on the halfway line has gone down on the challenge of Hyam, thought he was going to get a free kick, grabbed hold of the ball, and I think has been penalised for handball by the referee, who, by the way, is Tony Harrington. Foster since has gone down and stayed down, holding his hand, holding his fingers maybe. Did he get accidentally stamped on by Hyam in that melee, I wonder? Either way, Blackburn get the free kick.
I've got to say, Joe, I think Tony Harrington's got that one wrong. You see, Lyle Foster wanted the ball, he wanted to get there quicker than Hyam. Hyam stretched out his right foot and certainly made contact with the Burnley striker. I think as he was going down, I think he maybe has just stamped on his hand a little bit. It's not intentional at all, but it's a little bit of a let-off for Blackburn. It just gives them that opportunity to maybe get that ball somewhere near Burnley's 18-yard box.
Blackburn have lost 6 in a row against their local rivals. 11 miles between these two towns. The ball is back in the centre circle for Blackburn with Britton. Foster back on his feet as Esteb brings the ball down. Left-hand edge of the Burnley penalty area. Scoops it high towards the halfway line. Anthony can't win the ball in the air. Blackburn with Gay trying to float it down the middle. Hit away on the half volley by Worrell. High up into the air again. The sun gets even brighter overhead, it feels like, as if that's possible. As Burnley go left to Anthony, who's set up one goal already today. On his debut, what a start for Jayden Anthony, who only joined the club on Thursday. It was a busy deadline day that followed for Burnley as well. They're bringing in Josh Laurel, Jeremy Sarmiento, who is on the bench today, Zian Fleming, who wasn't quite registered in time, on loan from Millwall. Been a tough week for Scott Parker, but it could end in the best possible fashion after all the ins and outs, with a victory against the team that Burnley love to beat the most. 1-0, they lead Blackburn this afternoon. We're in the 20th minute. Callum Britton under pressure. Has to go back to Carter, whose clearance is hurried upfield. Burnley won the header on the halfway line through Laurel, and then that's a foul on Sondre Tronstad, the midfielder in the middle for Blackburn, and they take the free kick quickly. They scoop it wide to Hedges. Hedges with an early cross from the left. He's overhit that by Miles. Dolan and Gay nowhere near it. In fact, they weren't even inside the penalty area as Hedges crossed from the left, and it's out of play for a Burnley throw in the left-back position on the near side of the field.
I think these Blackburn players just need to stand still for a moment, Joe, and just take a deep breath and realise what game they're actually involved in, because at the moment it's men v boys. You know, Hedges there on the left-hand side, who's got a lovely left foot. The ball gets played out to him very quickly, but then Koleosho's tracking back, helping out his team. But Worrell, with no thought in it whatsoever, just whips the ball into the 18-yard area. His players haven't even caught up with him. You know, as a player, you've just got to calm yourself down at times and think to yourself, right, I've got the ball, yes, I'm going to be under pressure, but let's wait for my teammates to catch up with me, because at the moment they're giving the ball away, they're making silly mistakes, and I think John Eustace will be pretty frustrated at what he's seen so far.
You can see why, as we said before the game, Mickey, exactly why Scott Parker has put the likes of Laurent and Anthony straight in, and Worrell and Hannibal for home debuts as well. They're just not overwrought by the occasion at all. And Worrell, Laurent and Anthony, they've got Premier League experience. Two of those three. Laurent, a former Stoke City captain in the Championship. He's made another terrific tackle in the centre circle, Laurent, to win it back. Koleosho infield from the right-hand side. Up to the edge of the box. He shoots low. Deflected, and Pears goes down to make the save. Just for a second, it looked like that faint deflection might spin the ball away from the goalkeeper, but it was just close enough to Blackburn's number one that he was able to hold on to it. 1-0 Burnley.
Well, you talk about battles on a football field, and you know it's normally a right winger against the left back, a centre midfielder against centre midfielder. They're winning every battle at the moment, Burnley. You talk about Laurent in midfield. I mean, he's made 2 or 3 outstanding challenges to start off a move for Burnley, and when they get it over to Koleosho,
oh, here's Weimann with a half volley. What a goal! Andy Weimann with a Derby Day stunner to savour. He hit it early, he hit it true, 25 yards out, caught that perfectly into the top corner from Andy Weimann. Blackburn Rovers fans have had to wait more than 10 years for a goal in this fixture, but my, how good things come to those who wait. Andy Weimann with a goal he'll remember for the rest of his career, and it's Burnley 1, Blackburn 1.
Well, football's incredible, isn't it? When you're thinking that Burnley are just going to run away with it, Blackburn probably from their first break, from after 30 seconds, Andy Weimann picks that ball up. He's got one thought in his mind, and it's an absolute stunner. There's no doubt about it. What a finish. I mean, once that falls onto his right foot, it's bouncing in the air, and it's coming across him. I can't tell you how difficult a technique that is. He gives Trafford absolutely no chance in that Burnley goal. He had a threat after 30 seconds, tried to lob him from 40 yards. Wow, he's made up for it now. What a goal.
Sensational. Andy Weimann, a player of great experience. What a start he's had to his Blackburn Rovers career. Having nearly scored inside the first 30 seconds, he has levelled it up midway through the first half here at Turf Moor, and after all of Burnley's dominance, it's Blackburn out of virtually nothing who have somehow drawn themselves level. And Trafford, who had a chasing experience in the Premier League last season in goal for Burnley, had no chance whatsoever. 1-1 Mickey Gray.
Well, you just have to question James Trafford as well, Joe. I mean, they've made a transfer in just before the end of the window, haven't they, Burnley? And he didn't really start the game very well, did he? A couple of times the ball fell to his feet. His clearances weren't great, which is nearly where the first goal come from after 30 seconds from Weimann. And I just wonder whether he was a little bit too far off his... Look, I'm taking nothing away from Weimann. His goal was outstanding. But was he a little bit off his line there and just give Weimann the opportunity to play that ball over the top of his head?
1-1 the score, as the ball is given away at the other end by goalkeeper Pears, and now it's Hannibal trying to place an effort from a long way out. He was dead centre, 35 yards from goal there for Burnley, and he didn't get anything behind it, and it was an easy save for Pears, who gets away with a clearance that went somewhat awry. And how the atmosphere has changed at Turf Moor. The Blackburn fans, arms outstretched, 2,000 or so. You're not singing anymore. It's all gone quiet from the Burnley supporters for now. Yes. That's the beauty of Derby Day.
Well, it is. I mean, Joe, nobody could see where that goal was going to come from for Blackburn. They've shown no form in this game at all, but a little bit of quality and somebody who's got the faith in taking a shot from outside of the 18-yard box. That's what can happen. It can change a football match.
Well, Port Vale 0, Doncaster 1 is the latest score. Doncaster, who started well this season in League 2, and they lead at Vale Park. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1, live here on Talksport 2, with commentary of Everton against Bournemouth in the Premier League to come at 3 o'clock. Remarkable strike from Andy Weimann, who has proven capable of the spectacular across the course of his career. Feels like he's been around forever. He's been at Bristol City, Derby County, Aston Villa, you remember, perhaps when he was in at Premier League level. And he's levelled things up in remarkable fashion. The ball is back to goalkeeper Trafford in an off-yellow goalkeeping kit. Forward now to Esteve, the Burnley centre-half, the young Frenchman. Now wide to the near side, the left-back position, and Lucas Perez back to Esteve now. And a square ball across to Worrell. Burnley have not done a lot wrong, Mickey. I wonder what Scott Parker's thinking will be. Do they just have to keep doing what they were doing?
Oh, without doubt, yeah. I mean, they stay patient. They've been the better side. They're controlling the ball, a lot of possession. They're getting into much better areas than what Blackburn Rovers are, and they've just got to keep at it.
High ball downfield to Koleosho, who looks a real danger man in that one-on-one situation up against the Liverpool loanee Owen Beck. But in fairness to Beck, this time he gets the better of him on the far side. And the ball ricochets off Koleosho, flies up into the Bob Lord stand, and out of play for a Blackburn throw in that slither of shade on the far side of the field. 1-1 the score on Talksport 2. Sheffield United against Watford is our live championship commentary for you tomorrow from 3 o'clock, and then Salford against MK Dons in League 2 on Monday night. We'll have England, Scotland and Wales commentaries for you over the international break. Here is Jayden Anthony for Burnley. Left wing position infield onto his right side. Does like to cut in, Anthony, but his pass infield is intercepted and Blackburn win it back. Now the ball is with Travis on halfway. Travis shapes the cut infield, surrounded by claret shirts. Lovely ball up the middle. Dolan is running onto it. The flag goes up. Dolan puts it in. It's going to be disallowed. But I tell you what, looking at that at first glance, to me, well, Hedges might have been offside. I don't think Dolan was, but it will stay 1-1, Mickey.
Joe, I think you've got that 100%. And whether it was because Ryan Hedges was running onto it, he got his ankles clipped and he went to ground. He was in an offside position, but I think Tyrese Dolan's onside. It's a great ball through from Lewis Travis, and Dolan times his run perfectly. And I think the linesman's put his flag up very, very sharpish there. My goodness, what a let-off for Burnley.
We have got little monitors, haven't we, Mickey? I wonder actually whether Hedges was offside as well.
Yeah, he's very close, and like you said, it's the pass, isn't it? And sometimes the linesman can, his focus can be on the player with the ball, and then you look up and you see the players run after that, and obviously they're going to be in offside position. I think he's got that wrong, I really do.
And Blackburn can definitely feel hard done by. And Dolan with a very calm finish. The flag had long gone up, as you say, Mickey Gray. It was instant from the assistant referee, and so it stays 1-1 at Turf Moor. Still goalless at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, Brighton 0, with commentary continuing over on Talksport. Two sides have won both their Premier League matches so far this season.
And if you look at that goal as well, Joe, I think it's maybe, if you look at Burnley, they hold a high line.
Oh, good run in field by Beck up to the edge of the penalty area. He's blocked off at the last by Joe Worrell before he could get his shot away. Carter shoots him a long way out, a low shot that was dreadful. Completely mishit that Carter, the centre-half, fully 40 yards out, and it trickles apologetically wide and behind for a goal kick.
I think the less we talk about that, the better. But going back to that high line of Burnley, Joe, this is, it's an opportunity for a side that have got very pacey forward players. If they give the ball away, Burnley, in those midfield areas, if you're a striker, just get on your bike and use your pace. Play the ball in behind, because you look at the centre-halves, not the quickest. Yes, they've got experience, but they're not blessed with great pace.
Well, it's been a terrific atmosphere so far, and seen two well-crafted goals. The second, the equaliser for Blackburn from Vyman, simply sensational. In a fixture that has a history going back 140 years, if you include the first non-competitive meeting, a friendly match in 1884. And it has really failed to produce drama, and in this instance, arguably some more controversy. Jayden Anthony near side the left. He's got Lucas Perez on the overlap. Lucas Perez cuts it back towards Foster. Cleared away by Tronstadt. Excellent interception. It'll drop down to Esteve. He's midway into the Blackburn half. He was fouled. Esteve has gone down. He's hurt himself here under the challenge of Maktar Gay. Referee Tony Harrington was in the right place to see it. He's kept his cards in his pocket so far. Will Gay be in a little bit of trouble here? He will. That'll be a yellow card for Blackburn's number 9.
Yeah, it always looked like a yellow card, didn't it? Centre forward's challenge, always stretching, wasn't he? And I just wondered whether Tony Harrington, the referee, was maybe thinking, well, it's an East Lancashire derby. I'll let him get away with one challenge. He's not done that now. The centre-forward's got to play the rest of the game on that yellow card, but another opportunity with the quality that Burnley have got from set pieces. Brownhill stood over this one. I think Perez is the other player as well. A chance for Burnley to put that ball back into the Blackburn 18-yard box.
And lots of height in this Burnley lineup to target from set plays. Worrell, Esteve, Laurent, even Anthony, as well as Foster, the goal scorer. 1-1 the score on Talksport 2. We've had just over 31 minutes. The free kick slightly left of centre, midway into the Blackburn half. Lucas Perez and Brownhill standing over it. Lucas Perez, the Brazilian, delivers high to the back post. Worrell gets up, goalkeeper can't get there. Foster's looping header goes behind. He got very lucky there, Perez, and he's got Travis, his captain, remonstrating with him. Perez went up to try and punch that away in front of Foster. Nowhere near it. Had that been on target, Mickey, it's 2-1 Burnley.
Yeah, he's a very, very fortunate goalkeeper, Ainsley Perez. You could see he was trying to come through a string of bodies, wasn't he? He was never, ever going to get there. And it looks like a mismatch. When that ball comes into the box, Worrell's, look, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's always going to try and get his head on that first phase of play coming into the 18-yard box. While Foster is a live wire, he's going to be on the move, and look, he's brave, he gets his head on it, and you're right, Joe, if it's on target, it's a goal for Burnley.
A Port Vale 1, Doncaster 1, equaliser for the home side in League 2. And Blackburn have the ball back with goalkeeper, Burnley have the ball back with goalkeeper Trafford, away to our right-hand side, and now Burnley in a comfortable possession, but possession that is very much in their defensive third. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 0, Coventry 0, Norwich 0 elsewhere in the Championship. Blackpool 0, Wickham 1, Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0. Rotherham yet to win so far this season. Gillingham lead Chesterfield 1-0. And as you just heard, Port Vale 1, Doncaster 1. You're up to date in the EFL. Here's Koleosho. Lovely ball to find him on the far side, the right. Finds Hannibal on the underlap. Hannibal charging up that far side of the field for Burnley, and then sliding in, firm but fair on Beck, who might have got a touch on that. Last touch off Koleosho. And that'll be a throw to Blackburn in their left-back position. Blackpool get an equaliser against Wickham. It's now 1-1. Blackburn have really settled down into this game after that stirring opening from Burnley, certainly the first 22-23 minutes, but the Vyman equaliser out of nothing has changed the complexion, changed the feel of it, I think.
To give them a little bit of impetus into the game, Joe, there's no question of that. You can see the forward players are now, they're at it a little bit more. Tyrese Dolan want to see more from him. He's got great ability, but he's got to get a little bit closer to Maktar Gueye.
Space for Laurent to dart into. He crosses the halfway line, Burnley's new defensive midfield player, but as he looked to thread the ball out to the right, it was intercepted, a double touch, and then Foster is hacked down midway inside Blackburn territory. The yellow card out of the pocket again from the referee, this time for the captain Travis. So 2 Blackburn bookings in quick succession. Travis, arms outstretched, can't believe it. It did look like a late challenge on first viewing, though John Eustace is having words. He's not happy with the fourth official.
Yeah, I think it's Lewis Travis, who we know is very physical. It's just because his body's come off the ground and the follow through more than anything else there, Joe. He's won the ball, but he knows what he's doing, Lewis Travis. He's quite cute. He's tried to get away with one there. And when he's made contact with Lyle Foster again, Tony Harrington had to get that yellow card out of his pocket.
Any chance Lucas Perez goes for goal from here? He's 35 yards out right of centre, not much angle on it for a shot, and for a cross rather.
He's Brazilian.
So you never know, maybe he will go for it. And the referee's had to go across to speak to both bosses on the touchline, Scott Parker, who's gone for the suit and tie, and John Eustace in his tracksuit. And the Derby Day tension is even making its way over to the touchline. A word from Tony Harrington for both. And John Eustace still not happy with that yellow card, and he points at somebody, the Blackburn head coach, and then walks back into his technical area. And Scott Parker looking a little more like the calmer of the two, likewise. And the referee's going to march the 3-man Blackburn wall back the full distance. He's going to get the vanishing spray out. They were at least 2 or 3 yards too far forward here. Brownhill and Lucas Perez standing over it, but they have got both centre-halves forward again, Mickey.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a wonder goal, wouldn't it, from a free kick from how far out it is.
Lucas Perez is going to leave it to Brownhill to cross, right-footed to the back post, nodded down by Esteve, cleared away by Haim in front of his goalkeeper, who looked a little unconvincing, slightly nervy again, Perez. Burnley throw near side of the field, 10 yards into opposition territory. A big drop to the near side touchline below. We're in the very back row of seats here on the gantry, as the Burnley fans find their collective voice again. 1-1 the score. 9 minutes of normal time remaining at the end of a really absorbing first half. Koleosho, one-on-one with Beck, goes on the outside of him. Koleosho drills in a low cross. Beck got back at him, got a touch on it at the expense of Burnley's third corner of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, it's so refreshing, isn't it, when you see two wide players, a 1v1 situation against full-backs. You find out half a yard. What they're trying to do is just put that ball into the box. Normally you'd see them chopping back onto the right foot, then going again. Centre-forwards must love playing with these two wide boys.
Lucas Perez will take the corner. Again, the Brazilian, two arms up into the air, and then a single arm held aloft. Left-footed, in-swinging, six-yard box. Foster against the post with a header. And then they want handball to Burnley. Loud appeals from behind the goal as it's thundered clear by Hayden Carter. Foster, hand to his head. His head very nearly provided the second goal and a return to the lead for Burnley.
Well, he could have had a hat-trick, Lyle Foster. His movement is fantastic. He's getting away from his markers. Yes, he's got that one goal already, but two really good opportunities. One, just skipping by the post. This time hits the post. If you're a defender, you've got to get closer, and he was appealing for that handball afterwards, Joe. I've not seen a replay of that, but he looked as if it come off a Blackburn arm.
If we see it again on our little monitors in the commentary position, we'll try and let you know. It was a very crowded six-yard box, and goalkeeper Perez reluctant to come off his line. It's another free kick to Burnley, left at the edge of the centre circle, this one. And it's Vyman, the Blackburn goal scorer, who this time is appealing to referee Harrington. It won't change his decision, of course. Got to have a cool head as a referee on a East Lancashire derby day, Mickey.
No doubt about it.
Koleosho trying to dart in field away from Beck into the midway point of the Blackburn half. Now Brownhill plays the ball back out to the far side. Connor Roberts is dispossessed, and Ryan Hedges threads the ball over the halfway line. Too much on that for Gay. There was a head start for both Burnley centre-halves, and Esteve will send it back to goalkeeper Trafford. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1. It's absolutely brilliant to be here at Turf Moor for a game like this and an occasion like this, and you can really sense that the jeopardy that both sets of supporters are feeling with the scores level. Arsenal lead Brighton by a goal to nil in the Premier League. Kai Havertz with the opening goal at the Emirates Stadium. And commentary continues over on Talksport. Just download our app to swipe between both stations at your leisure. Another foul, this time on Foster, just inside Blackburn territory. Beck, I think, he'll take that one. And it's a free kick to Burnley. Yes, inside Blackburn territory, but certainly not in a position where there's any immediate threat.
No, it gives Blackburn the opportunity to get everybody behind the ball and maybe just have a breath and just say to themselves, right, okay, let's stay calm. If we can get ourselves back into a position where it's more difficult for Burnley to break us down, it's going to be better. The wide players need to help out the fullbacks a lot more, certainly over on that right-hand side.
Blackburn much tougher to beat under John Eustace, particularly since he got that first win in charge 10 games into his stint when he took over from John Dahl Thomason partway through last season. Had to wait until the final day, Blackburn, to confirm their place in the Championship for another season. Had a couple of very impressive away wins at the back end of last year. Here is Travis for them inside the centre circle. Square ball out to the near side, and Britton. Back it goes to Carter. Blackburn have got a grip on the game now with the score 1-1. It's a much more even encounter than it was in the first 20-25 minutes or so. Good turn by Hedges on the far side, but he's dispossessed by the onrushing Laurent. Tireless so far. Hannibal, full of ingenuity, has picked it up. And now Foster darts away from 1 and 2, but not beyond the third defender, Carter, who stands up to block him away. It's dropped to Brownhill, though. 30 yards out left of centre. Wide to Anthony. Lucas Perez on the overlap to cross. Cut back towards Hannibal. Only half away. And then the big deflection off Anthony will send the ball spiralling behind. It's a goal kick to Blackburn. Stays 1-1. 5 minutes of the first half remaining.
You just wonder sometimes in a Blackburn shirt, Joe, don't you? They're playing out or trying to play out on the edge of their own 18-yard box, giving the ball away. And you have to give the Burnley players a lot of credit. Certainly Lyle Foster being tenacious, trying to win the ball back for his team. Brownhill is on the scene, just making things tick over. They get the ball into wide areas, the overlap and runs. And Perez, he didn't really quite catch his cross going back into the penalty area there, did he? But again, the movement is absolutely fantastic.
A header from Gay on the halfway line, tries to flick it forward towards the much more diminutive Tyrese Dolan. Can't do that. Gay will get another opportunity to hold up possession right in front of the Blackburn dugout. This time he's fouled. Blackburn coaching staff on the far side appeal, and the free kick given by the referee. And now both sets of players threaten to go head-to-head, 3 or 4 of them from each team on that far side. Hannibal's having words with the fourth official, Luis Chavez, leading the Blackburn complaints. And suddenly, if you are Tony Harrington, we mentioned the referee a few moments ago, it's just got a little bit busier for him here, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, it has. I mean, pretty much every player's across next to the technical areas, aren't they? And he's a big lad, Maktar Gueye. We talked about him before the game, that physical presence, but I mean, he's made 5 or 6 rolls on the ground there. He must have obviously felt the force of the challenge, but from where we are, Joe, it didn't really look like anything. It was more the fact that he'd given the ball away yet again. You know, his first touch hasn't been great in the game so far. He's not really got involved as much as I expected him to get involved. But yeah, maybe it's a breather that Blackburn need at the moment. Yes, they've grown into the game a little bit, but I still think, you know, that spark's still missing. They've got themselves on level terms. You would think that would give them a little bit of momentum moving forward, but it's Burnley who certainly look more threatening in the final third.
Mickey, who has played for Blackburn Rovers, a former England defender. Sunderland has started well.
Yes.
This season under Regis Lebris. Not a man that many would have heard of before the campaign started, but a new name in the Championship.
It's called Reggie Lebris up north, Joe. It's easier to say. But yeah, they've started fantastic.
Hannibal has been yellow carded, by the way, for the foul on Maktar Gueye, and suddenly play has been stopped momentarily after a very energetic first 42 and a half minutes. This is the first real stoppage that we've had. If it stayed 1-1, by the way, Blackburn would remain third in the Championship. Burnley would just move up 1 place into fourth. Of course, very early days at the start of the season. And Queen's Park Rangers 2-1 winners over Luton Town last night. And Luton still without a win since their relegation from the Premier League at the end of last season.
I think that's been one of the surprises of the Championship so far, and I'm sure Rob will turn that around. There's been a lot of ins and outs at that football club. Just trying to still find his best 11, but yeah, a bit of a shock to the start of the season, I have to say.
Work to do for Rob Edwards. That was QPR's first victory of the campaign. We're at Bramall Lane tomorrow in the Championship on Talksport 2 for Sheffield United against Watford. Today at 3, and we'll have commentary of Everton against Bournemouth from the Premier League. Chris is leading our coverage from Goodison Park. Chris Latcham, Ian Danter and Perry Groves will be a commentary team. Blackburn free kick after that minor melee earlier. Not really a melee by Derby Day standards. The Hannibal was booked. Gay is off the pitch. Blackburn temporarily down to 10. Beck with the free kick, hanging up high towards the edge of the penalty area. It'll be picked up by Lucas Perez, who can nudge it off the shins of Carter and out of play for a throw to Burnley on the near side of the field in their left-back position. They're still waiting for Maktar Gueye to get the call to go back onto the field as we tick towards stoppage time here in the first half. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1, and now it does feel like the atmosphere has finally settled down a little bit. Burnley have possession with their Esteve. It's not quite as ferocious as it was pre-match and in the early stages. Good turn by Foster to take Carter out of the game. Wide to the near side, the left, and Anthony. Foster's now darted into the penalty area, awaiting a cross. Lucas Perez in support of Anthony. Dead ball line, and then he swings one in right-footed. Headed away by Hyam at the back post. It'll drop down on the chest of Roberts. Roberts was caught there by Hedges as he poked it into the penalty area. Gay is back on the pitch, meanwhile, for Blackburn, helping out defensively, almost in the left-back position here. He's given it away to Hannibal, and then between them, Gay and Hedges do just about enough to smuggle it only half away. Out of play for a Burnley throw, about 10 yards from the corner flag. Stoppage time coming up. Here comes the fourth official. 4 added minutes at the end of the first half.
Well, you feel like it's 4 minutes for Blackburn to hang on, Joe, at the moment, don't you? It's Burnley, when they get into those advanced positions. Jayden Anthony, you're putting another lovely ball into the box, that little chop onto his right foot, and then Blackburn they're not clearing their lines, and It's the outlet ball. Gay keeps giving the ball away too much.
Long throw by Roberts, flicked on by Worrell. Goalkeeper stayed at home, headed away by Carter. It'll drop down to the midway point of the Blackburn half and Esteve. Square ball to Lucas Pires. Lucas Pires left of centre. That's a clever angle ball to the edge of the box. Hannibal nearly took it in his stride on his chest. I think he's been penalised for handball as the former Manchester United man. And that'll be a free kick to Blackburn, about 5 yards forward of the edge of their own penalty area. 3 minutes through first half stoppage time. You can hear the chants of the Blackburn fans behind the goal to the right. A long line of policemen separating the Blackburn and Burnley fans behind the goal to our right. Ainsley Pears has looked a little suspect.
Yeah.
In terms of not coming for these aerial balls, Mickey, the goalkeeper.
He has. Whenever the balls come into the area, he looks a little bit shaky, doesn't he? As if he wants to stay on his line and just let his defenders deal with the situation. He's got to be more dominant as a goalkeeper, and I've seen it in the past. He can certainly do it.
You can see that the crowd are really warming to Hannibal on what is his home debut, having played in the League Cup at Wolves in midweek. That League Cup defeat for Burnley. Both teams were knocked out of the competition in midweek. Blackburn on the attack now with Dolan. He's shrugged aside by the challenge of Esteve, who can carry the ball forward out of defence. And now Lucas Pires, just shy of the halfway line on the near side of the left. He races forward into Blackburn territory. 1-1 on your home of the EFL, Talksport 2. Halfway through 4 minutes of added time. The ball is with Brownhill. We're in the first half here. Brownhill thumped the ball against the arm of Dolan. Takes a quick throw to Brownhill. Jaden Anthony, left hand edge of the penalty area. Back to goal, he's brought it down. Back to Brownhill, first time shot. That one's blocked by Tronstad. And now Gay having to drop into his own half and gives possession away. Port Vale 1, Doncaster 1 is a half-time score in League 2. Opportunity for Lucas Pires, inside left channel. He's half beyond Dolan, has to tease it back to Brownhill. Corner of the penalty area. Brownhill dinks it in towards Foster, headed away, looping header by Carter. It's another Burnley corner.
It's just sustained pressure from Burnley. The confidence they're showing in those advanced positions is absolutely fantastic. Now the wide players want to get involved in the game. Lyle Foster's making great runs. Brownhill and Hannibal, as you mentioned just earlier, Joe, they want to get on the ball. They want to make the difference.
Lucas Pires for the fourth time will take a corner from that far side, the Burnley right. It'll be a left-footed in-swinging delivery into the penalty area, headed away by Hyam before it could reach Esteve. Nodded back towards the corner taker, Lucas Pires, by Hannibal. I don't think the Brazilian was anticipating that. And it's an easy clearance, thumped high downfield into the sunshine by Hyam and out of play. About 45 seconds of stoppage time remain at the end of the first half. Gillingham 1, Chesterfield 0 is a half-time score. And Chris will have all the half-time scores for you from around the grounds, around the country in just a few moments. Koleosha, far side the right for Burnley. Quick, direct attacking. Up to the edge of the area, curling shot left-footed. And he's blazed that high over the top. And with that, we may have seen the last of the first half chances.
Yeah, and I think it'll give John Eustace the chance to just run down that tunnel at half-time to get his players in and say, look, you know, we're playing in an East Lancashire derby here. You know, they've had 30% possession in the game, Joe. I think that tells its own story. Burnley could have ran away with this in the early stages of the game. They didn't do that. Blackburn have scored a wonder goal to get themselves on level terms. But there's no question they need to show more in the second 45 minutes.
Oh, what a thrilling first 45 minutes it was. East Lancashire, the derby competition has definitely delivered so far, but the scores are level at the break. Burnley having taken an early lead through Lyle Foster's header. They were dominant in the early stages, Burnley, and it was really something out of nothing from Andy Vyman. That something was a stunning equaliser on the half volley midway through the first half to draw Blackburn level. Instinctive looping over the top of James Trafford and into the top corner. It was a truly brilliant goal. Since then, there have been chances at both ends. Tyrese Dolan had a goal ruled out for offside when he looked to be, according to the replays, in an onside position for Blackburn Rovers, who might feel a little hard done by. That said, Foster, who had scored the opener for Burnley, could easily have had a hat-trick in this first half. One flicked header wide with the score at 1-1, and then another off the inside of the post. Burnley finishing the half stronger, certainly. They've got a great grip on this fixture over recent times, but not at this point able to make that dominance count. At half-time, Burnley 1, Blackburn 1.
Great work, Joe Shennan, Mickey Gray. So 1-1 at Turf Moor in the game on Talksport. Arsenal currently leading Brighton 6 points each from their 2 games. Arsenal 1-0 up. Kai Havertz has got the goal. Let's stay focused on Turf Moor though, Mickey. I want to start with the second goal of the half. Andy Weimann, I heard it in the commentary. I've then gone straight onto social media to see it. That is a worldie.
Yeah, it's not bad, Chris, was it, eh? You think, when the ball's bouncing, and we know he's got the quality, Weimann. We've seen goals like that from him before. But it's instinctive if a forward player who wants to get himself on the score sheet and make the difference. And they needed somebody at that time to make a difference because they weren't in the game at all. And Weimann just had that shot. He's seen Trafford off his line, and I mean, it's coming across his body. I can't tell you how hard that is technically wise, but it's a super finish and a great equaliser.
Did you ever score one like that?
I did.
No.
Well,
Did you?
I scored, I think it was the first ever goal, or maybe in fact my second goal for Sunderland when I was a very young lad, maybe about 18 or 19 year old against Birmingham at Roker Park. Pretty similar to that.
I'll ask Ian Dancer about that when he's taking his breather. Good start for Burnley in the game. As you mentioned, they were dominant in the first half of that first half. Lyle Foster getting underway, and a good start for Jayden Anthony providing the assist on his debut. Yeah,
look, I think they've been brilliant. I think the new signings who've come into the starting 11 today have been outstanding. I mean, Hannibal's been excellent. Koleosho, I know he's not a new signing, but he's looked outstanding on that right-hand side. Jayden Anthony, that's exactly what you want. You want a settler when you come into a new club, whether it's a goal or an assist. It's a brilliant cross. And I mean, Lyle Foster's just got to put his head on it, and it's a super finish. And what a start to the game for Burnley it was.
Yeah, so 1-1 at half-time. Mickey, Joe, go and get yourself a cup of tea. I know it gets cold at the top of that stand at Turf Moor. Right now, though, we'll take a quick breather, and then we're going to focus on our big game in the Premier League, which is 3 o'clock. It's Everton against Bournemouth, but you are listening to EFL Live on Talksport 2.
Broadcast partner of the English Football League. Talksport 2 is your dynamic destination for all the latest sporting action, featuring live commentary of all the biggest events, including football, PGA golf, horse racing, Premiership rugby, cricket, boxing, and all the big-hitting drama of the NFL. Touchdown! Plus, Talksport 2's official betting partner, William Hill, is always on hand with the insight and in-depth analysis you need. Talksport 2 with official betting partner, William Hill. Get epic value all season with William Hill. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
The Big Wicks event is now on. From tiles to flooring, doors, kitchens, bathrooms and more. We have everything you need to help you start your next home improvement project. Shop The Big Wicks event, in-store and online now.
That's not simple. That's not simple. Now that's simple. Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple, because when life is this complicated, finding a great deal shouldn't be. Great cover, great price, and a great app makes us one of the UK's top choices when comparing car insurance online. Hastings Direct. Simplicity is the best policy. For verification, see hastingsdirect.com/verify.
Seize the great British summer with Deliveroo. From sausages and sun cream for sunny day barbecues to fiery Thai or hot wings for rainy nights in. We'll deliver your summer essentials, whatever the weather. From the restaurants and stores you love in as little as 30 minutes. Open the Deliveroo app and order now. If only the weather was as reliable.
Geographical restrictions, service and delivery fees apply. Delivery times may vary. See an app for current delivery estimates.
It's fast, it's exhilarating, it's Team Sport, the UK's #1 indoor karting experience. Battle it out at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour and feel the thrill of acceleration as you race to the finish line. Team Sport Karting has over 36 locations. There's a track near you. Save 10% when booking online. Use the code GET10 on the Team Sport website. Verification at team-sport.co.uk.
1 minute you're watching the diving, trying to figure out the point system, wondering how on earth you learn the double pike tuck into somersaults, and the next, splosh! You're a millionaire. Lotto. Will you be next? Play on app. The National Lottery. Account terms, rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Jim White and Simon Jordan on Talksport. Mid-morning radio that's up for the job.
I'm hot under the collar with this.
Concrete sports talk.
Edge that one in stone.
Rapid setting opinion.
I still think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Oh, no. Come on.
Big names all bagged up.
David Moyes, John Hartson, Ian Rush.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Delivered weekday mornings from 10 on Talksport by Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
Talksport 2, Monday night.
League 2 live.
It's a stunner! Salford City versus MK Dons.
Anchor up at 7. Cast off at 8 p.m.
Monday night.
Get your boots on, Billy.
Talksport 2.
Join the Football Collective.
EFL Game Day Live.
On Talksport 2.
And it finished Tottenham 4, Everton 0. The Spurs players probably used more energy on their lap of honour at the end of the game than they had to over the course of the 95 minutes.
Everton 0, Brighton 3.
I don't know what Everton are currently.
He don't play any other way on the base because he doesn't know any other way. He's got no plan B.
They needed to get through last night. They didn't just need to win, they needed to perform and they needed to win well. And they ticked all of those boxes. And it's now about taking it into the Premier League.
The boos you can hear are for the referee David Coote. Iriola has a face like thunder. It finishes Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 1.
We've lost, 4 points because there are VAR correcting decisions that the referees take. The ones making the mistakes don't pay the consequences.
So half-time in the Championship. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1. For the next few minutes, we'll focus on our Premier League. 3 o'clock, live and exclusive on Talksport 2. With me, Chris Latcham, Ian Danter and Perry Groves are alongside me to preview Everton against Bournemouth. Perry, these two are slow starters, especially under these managers. There's some interesting stats kicking around about these two.
Yeah, I think with Sean Dyche and Everton, I think it's they only won 12.5% of their games in August. And then if you look at Andoni Iriola for Bournemouth, as a manager through from Mirandes to Rayo Vallecano and Bournemouth, he's only won 14.2% of his games.
Why does that happen?
Maybe they have a little summer bash somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Just gone a little bit of a vino, a little bit of 18 to 30s.
I wonder if they're
inclusive.
working too hard in pre-season almost. The legs are still burning, or maybe it's the opposite. I don't know.
I think from Sean Dyche's point of view, I think you have to go with the fixtures they've had. Obviously, we haven't gone into that depth. And also from his team section point of view, Braithwaite hasn't obviously been playing at the start of this season, where I think the triumvirate with Tarkowski, Braithwaite and Jordan Pickford, that gave him a lot of solidity last season. And with Bournemouth and Andoni Iriola, they didn't win for their first 9 games under him because he was trying to implement his own ideas and own philosophy, and it took him a little bit of a while to do that. And then as soon as he'd done it, then they went on a brilliant run, and they stayed in the Premier League quite comfortably. So this will be a really good game today because Bournemouth won't come here and sit deep. Well, the fashionable thing is the low block now, isn't it? They will go, they will be pressed, they will press from the front, and they will put Everton under pressure.
And they're also the dirtiest team in the league over the last year, Bournemouth, so they'll be putting it about, I think, this afternoon. Dance, Everton have had that rotten start to the league, heavy defeats without scoring against Brighton, against Tottenham last week, but a confidence-boosting win. All right, it was only Doncaster. What will that do for them in midweek?
It might do nothing. I mean, depending on what the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes are like here, if they don't get on the front foot and start pushing Bournemouth back, then these fans will get nervous because of what Brighton did to them. You have to temper your enthusiasm for the performance against Doncaster by saying it was against the League Two side. So they're going to have to start well. Bournemouth will not come here and put 10 men behind the ball. They will try and get in behind Everton and try and give them problems going back the other way. And without Braithwaite, because he is still absent, that's the concern, I think, for Everton fans, that they don't have that guy leading the line.
So are we a collective here? Us three, we're a collective, do you think? Can feel the synergy, so. Collective?
Yeah. Oh, synergy, I
like reading the manager's notes, and Seamus Coleman's done his notes in the programme, and the word was collective. And basically what they're saying is to the fans, if we start a bit slowly, please don't boo us.
Please don't boo.
Because they know that they need the fans on side, and Sean Dyche was saying about what a fantastic club this is, which it is, a proper old traditional football club. Everybody's got to be in together, and it's synergy.
My old boss used to say, if you're going to boo your own players, you might as well put on an opposition shirt and scarf whilst you're at it.
Yeah, because the negativity, and players will say, it doesn't bother. It does. Trust me, it does. Because
you saw what happened at Euston last week after Tottenham.
Yeah,
players walking past. There was only one fan who was really abusive, but right in their face. And one of them, Neil Maupay's gone, I'm done. I'm out. He's gone to Marseille.
Yeah, that's good business from Everton's point of view.
It out as well
so
as
that fan is probably getting handshakes and pints bought around from by the Everton fans. But what happens is, we've been here, Dance, as well before when they had the trouble, didn't they, with the previous owners and the board.
The protest down the street behind us.
Yeah, it got vitriolic, didn't it? It was in Gladys Road, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, and the Bullens Road, they were everywhere.
And it got vitriolic, and you could feel the tension in the stadium. And that does, trust me, as being a player, that then manifests itself onto the pitch, because you feel that tension and you think, my touch has got to be brilliant, you know what I mean, I've got to make the right decision, and then you overthink stuff and you don't play naturally. So I know it's a cliche, but the first goal is unbelievably important here today, because if Bournemouth score, we mentioned it before, Chris, didn't it? This could turn nasty pretty quickly. If Everton score, then all the positivity goes completely the other way.
And that's fair, because Bournemouth will feel aggrieved in both the games they've had in the past 7 days. The West Ham defeat in the Cup, where it's ironic, really. One game you got VAR, it don't help you. The next game you don't have VAR and it doesn't help you.
Yeah.
So Iraola must be feeling, well, how many black cats have I run over by accident?
Quite a few,
the past couple of days. But first goal, I think Perry's absolutely correct, because it will set the tone for the way that supporters are in this stadium.
And the tone needs to be set from both Everton and Bournemouth, both looking for their first Premier League wins of the season. That is our 3 o'clock focus this afternoon. Dance, Perry, take a breather. We'll be back with you for the team news in not so long, whenever it comes out.
15 minutes, yeah.
15 minutes time, inside the commentary of the second half of Burnley against Blackburn, where we had an absolute worldie in the first half. Let's remind ourselves how it played out.
It is Burnley against Blackburn Rovers, the 105th East Lancashire derby, and we are off and underway on Talksport 2. Brad Hill, the captain, lovely back heel into the path of Anthony on the underlap. Has he got the pace to beat Britain? It's a great cross. Foster hits it in. What a start for Burnley! Are they on the way to yet another Derby Day victory?
What a start for Burnley!
Oh, here's Vyman with a half volley. What a goal! Andy Vyman with a Derby Day stunner to savour.
And it's an absolute stunner. There's no doubt about it. What a finish. Wow.
Lovely ball up the middle. Dolan is running onto it. The flag goes up. Dolan puts it in. It's going to be disallowed.
I think the linesman's put his flag up very, very sharpish there. My goodness, what a let-off for Burnley.
Left-footed, in-swinging, 6-shot box. Foster against the post with a header.
Well, he could have had a hat-trick like Foster.
So two teams who don't get on very well at all. Second half action of Burnley against Blackburn, the East Lancs derby, in the company of the former Sunderland defender Mickey Gray and our match commentator Joe Shennan. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Perfect timing as both teams emerge from the tunnel, which is in one corner of the ground, the sort of cricket club end, if you like. And they come out from the corner, and the staff and substitutes traipse across the pitch to the dugouts on the far side of the field. And isn't this game fascinatingly poised at 1-1 going into the second half? Burnley, as you heard, with that Foster header to take the lead, but then Andy Vyman with something very special out of nothing to draw the scores level. Though, Mickey, Burnley were very much on top at the latter part of that first half.
Yes, they were. It looked like they were trying to get in at half-time in the lead. Unfortunately for them, it didn't happen, but they look a real threat when they get into that final third. In the wide players I've mentioned so many times in that first half, but when they get the chance to take in a full-back and then put the ball into the area, it's exactly what they're doing. A centre-forward's joy. And they just look as if they're a split second ahead of Blackburn at the moment. Blackburn have got to give us a little bit more in the second half to make this more of a derby game, Joe. 64% accurate passes in the first half. It's not good enough in a derby like this, and I talked about the control. They need to show more.
Well, the sun still shines in spectacular fashion from high above us here in East Lancashire. The 22,000 strong crowd are being treated to warm temperatures in the stands. Lots of replica shirts, a couple of big claret and blue flags being waved in and around the edges of the touchline. No changes at half-time, it doesn't look like, for either side. 1-1 the score, and we're ready for the start of the second half here. Live on Talksport 2, Blackburn in the blue and white halved shirts, white shorts and blue socks get us back underway again. playing from right to left towards the two-tiered home end of the stadium, the Jimmy McElroy end, and Burnley in the claret and sky blue shirts, white shorts and sky blue socks, playing from left to right towards the away end of the ground, which is actually split between home and away supporters, the cricket club end, if you like. Burnley immediately into possession with Koleosho, who will race up the inside right channel. He'll be blocked off by Hedges, and that's a foul by Koleosho on the follow-through, and a free kick to Blackburn. So Burnley, Trafford in goal, Roberts, Worrell, Esteban, Lucas Perez, Koleosho, Brownhill, Laurent, Hannibal and Anthony in support of Foster. For Blackburn, Pears in goal, Britton, Carter, Hyam and Beck, Travis and Tronstad, Vyman, Dolan and Hedges behind Gay. I'll give you the subs as well for Burnley: Egan Riley, Hutonji, Rodriguez, Masengo, Ladke the goalkeeper, Sambo, Humphreys, Benson and the new signing Sarmiento. And the Blackburn subs: Rankin Costello, Ahashi, Duru, Toth the new goalkeeper, McFadzine, Buckley, Sigurdsson, and two more new signings, Lewis Baker and Amario Cozier Dubry. Port Vale 1, Doncaster Rovers 2 in League 2. Billy Sharp, the evergreen Billy Sharp, has put Doncaster back in front. That's the first goal in the EFL, or indeed in the Premier League, in the second halves around the grounds around the country. Arsenal 1, Brighton 0. We'll keep you up to date with that, and it's also live for you over on Talksport. Good crossfield ball by Gay for Blackburn. Out to the right, and Vyman. He's brought it down inside the penalty area. He clips in the cross to the back post, only half away by Worrell, and then smacked wide on the half volley by Callum Britton, who was forward from the back, found himself inside the penalty area. It was a slightly awkward looking effort, had to angle his leg to try and wrap his foot around it, and Worrell, the Burnley defender, can breathe a sigh of relief. It's gone wide and it's still 1-1.
Wow, what a strike. Lovely move from Blackburn there, and it probably fell to the wrong man in Callum Britton.
Oh, good flick down the middle by Gay towards Hedges this time, and it's another scrambled piece of defending from a Burnley perspective. Roberts with the half tackle, and then Esteve lobs it clear high towards the halfway line, and then Foster is penalised, and that'll be a free kick to Burnley, to Blackburn rather, just inside their own half. Burnley 1, Blackburn Rovers 1, with 2.5 minutes into this second period. Scott Parker standing with his arms folded inside the technical area. Away on the far side as we look at it, the Bob Lord stand, which has got a small flag on top of it, fluttering in the light wind. And John Eustace, the Blackburn head coach, with his arms folded in his tracksuit top and trousers. The ball is out of play. It's a Burnley throw in their right back position, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, and the tempo's not dipped, has it, Joe? I know it's still early doors in this second 45 minutes, but you can see, I think Blackburn have obviously advanced a little bit further. Dolan looks as if he's playing more advanced, and they need to do that. They need to make it more of a challenge for Burnley, because when they get on the ball, the Burnley players, they've got too much time in their hands, and they've just been able to pick Blackburn off. And I talked about the accurate passes from Blackburn in that first 45 minutes. That has to improve. Look, they're on level terms at the moment. I'm sure they'd be thrilled to come away with anything from here today. But they won all 3 points. Both sides want all 3 points, and we want to see an entertaining 45 minutes in this second half.
1-1. Callum Britton's just been yellow carded, the Blackburn right back, for a foul on Jaden Anthony, who's making his Burnley debut today. Set up 1 goal already, and Declan Rice has been sent off. Arsenal lead Brighton by 1-0, but Arsenal are down to 10 men. Live right now over on Talksport. You're with Game Day on the Talksport network. Crossfield ball by Worrell for Burnley, deep into opposition territory. Good header away by Britton, who beat Anthony to the ball. Then a loose pass straight out of play by Tronstad. That was rather sloppy. Looking across to the far side of the field. Burnley have possession back now with Foster, 25 yards out. Sweeping ball, left to right to the near side to find Koleosho. Hugging the near side right channel. Scampers infield away from Beck. Left-footed in swinging cross is headed away by the Blackburn captain Travis. In front of those away supporters, 2,000 or so behind the goal away to our right-hand side. Koleosho trying to make some headway down by the dead ball line. He's blocked off by a couple of players in blue and white. And now Maktar Gay trying to dribble right along this left-hand touchline. And he's sent the ball trickling out of play. And the ironic cheers will have told you it's a Burnley throw midway inside the Blackburn half. Roberts infield to Foster. They didn't pick him up very quickly, but Travis was there to win it back anyway, just shy of the centre circle. Then that looked like a foul on Hedges. It is. It's a free kick, foul on Vyman rather. Free kick to Blackburn Rovers on the halfway line. And I think, Mickey, if it's more of a spoiling game, that will suit the unbeaten visitors Blackburn Rovers.
Yes, because Burnley want to control football matches. They want to get into good advanced areas when they get the opportunity. At the moment, it's gone a little bit scrappy. There's a lot of fouls. Lyle Foster, he's got to be a little bit careful. 2 or 3 fouls from him. He doesn't want to be going into the book because he scored a goal. He's having a great day so far.
And here come Burnley on the attack, looking to go back in front. Over hit pass by Laurent up the inside right channel. It's towards the run of Koleosho. And he had to scramble the clearance out of play in the end, did Hyam, under terrific pressure from the young Italian Koleosho, 19 years of age. Hyam backing off towards the dead ball line. And he was forced into a clearance that he didn't really want to make. And the Burnley fans in front of us are out of their seats to cheer that. And now there'll be a throw on the near side of the field. We're just looking around the edge of the gantry here, right at the back of the north stand at Turf Moor. It's Roberts with a long throw into the penalty area. Worrell jumping, couldn't get his head onto it. It's scrambled clear by Blackburn. Hedges up towards the halfway line, and then it's knocked downfield by Brownhill for Burnley once again. Chasing is Hannibal. Hannibal trying to keep it in, away on the near side, the right. Hannibal can't do so. He's blocked off this time by Beck, and it's hammered away by Hedges up towards the halfway line. Coventry 0, Norwich 1 in the Championship. 1-1 here at Turf Moor. Gay with a sweeping pass into the feet of Dolan. Dolan cuts it across, saved by the goalkeeper, and the rebound is smuggled away on the line by Trafford. It hit his defender, flew towards the back post, and Trafford had to sprawl back and claw that away. It's a double save from the Burnley goalkeeper that keeps the score at 1-1.
Yeah, it's a great break, isn't it, from Blackburn, using their pace. Gay this time playing the perfect pass into Tyrese Dolan, into his path, one touch out of his feet. When he gets into that 18-yard box, yes, he's weaker left foot, keeps it low. Good save from James Trafford, and then the follow-up was absolutely fantastic.
7 minutes into the second half, and it's Burnley 1, Blackburn 0, but you really do feel that we haven't seen the last of the scoring yet. Wyman actually turned away as the ball spiraled towards the back post. That's a lunging challenge by Carter. It's a poor one inside the centre circle, right in front of the referee. It's an obvious yellow card. The Burnley fans are furious in front of us here. They're packed all around us in the main stand. Had to be a yellow card for that scything lunge of Carter to bring down Hannibal.
Yeah, nasty challenge that from Hayden Carter. Knew exactly what he was doing, the centre half. He found himself in no man's land, got himself into a little bit of trouble, had to make that foul. I'm not quite sure if I think it's Hannibal who's on the ground. Well, he's felt the full force of that challenge. Really fortunate. It's only a yellow card. Last thing that Blackburn Rovers need is to go down to 10 men.
Long-legged Carter mistiming that challenge and then some. John Eustace, the Blackburn head coach, just having a quick word with the fourth official. No sign of any imminent substitutions just yet. 8 minutes into the second half, and it's still 1-1. Live and exclusive to National Radio on Talksport 2, with Everton against Bournemouth coming up at 3.
Just going back to that chance that that Blackburn have just had through Tyrese Dolan, Joe. I don't know if you saw the reaction of Andreas Weimann.
He turned away, didn't he?
Yeah, and he kicked the bottle at the side of the goal, as if he was frustrated that Dolan didn't cross the ball to him first time. He could have been onto that second opportunity.
Had he been more alert, that rebound could have ended up in the back of the net, and Blackburn will already feel hard done by, having had a goal disallowed for offside. Dolan in the first half, when he looked to be, replay suggested, in an onside position. And Blackburn won more points away from home than they did at Ewood Park last season, remember, so they are comfortable on the road, particularly under John Eustace, of course. Burnley have only lost one of their last 37 home matches in the Championship. Esteve for them on Derby Day. Wide out to the left-hand side. Jayden Anthony scampers infield from the slither of shade into the bright sunshine again. Now it's Lucas Perez turning it back down that far side, the left towards Anthony. Hannibal is right by the corner flag in support. He's held it up in front of Britton. Back it goes to Lucas Perez, all left foot, so didn't cross with his right. Went backwards instead to Esteve. Now Worrell. Does Burnley continue to build in front of the away end? Down the right goes Koleosho, near side of the field. He tries to swing in the cross. He's blocked off. No foul, says the referee, from the Liverpool loanee Beck. And Blackburn clear along up the middle through hedges. Gay will chase after it. Esteve had a little head start, and he's able to shepherd it back to Trafford, and Burnley can build again. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 1. Cardiff bottom of the Championship without a point so far, and they trail at home to Middlesbrough. So we've had goals in all 3 of the early kickoffs in the Championship so far this lunchtime. With a full programme, of course, to come across the course of the afternoon, and commentary of Sheffield United against Watford tomorrow afternoon on Talksport 2. Koleosho jinks beyond Beck again on that inside right channel. Across comes Hedges to sweep it out of play. No quarter given, and so far in the second half, no extra quarter taken, Mickey Gray. It's still 1-1.
Still have got a lot of possession, Burnley, haven't they? But what they've changed from the first half, Joe, is they were getting the ball into wide areas and just not even thinking about it, putting the ball into the box. They're coming back now and trying to play through midfield and maybe score the perfect goal, which is why they're not creating as many opportunities. Blackburn, on the other hand, are just trying to win the ball back into those midfield areas and catch Burnley on the break.
Here they come, Burnley near side the right again with Koleosho. He's about 10 yards from the corner flag. Little touch in field to Brownhill. Back out wide to Koleosho once more. Over the edge of the 18-yard box. Brownhill now blocked off by the first man, Tronstad, as he looked to push the ball into the penalty area. Plenty in Blackburn, royal blue and white. Behind the ball as Burnley come forward again. Roberts, near side right touchline, deep cross to the back post. Flicked header away by Britton. And very calmly, Andy Vyman sends it back to Dom Hyam, who scoops it clear away from danger. That's a foul on Gay. And we can get team news from Goodison Park. Everton against Bournemouth will be our 3 o'clock commentary on Talksport 2. Here's Ian Danter, as in fact we'll go to Dance in just a second, because there's a second yellow card for Gay. Maktar Gay, the Blackburn Rovers forward, has his arms outstretched in appeal to the referee, who has just produced a second yellow card for the number 9. It looked as though he'd won a free kick just a few moments ago. Not sure whether it was something that he'd said. He was certainly fouled, it looked like, just shy of the halfway line, and Gay stands, hands on hips, looks like he cannot believe it. Tony Harrington very quick with that second yellow card. It was a tangle between Gay and Esteve. Certainly the free kick was given to Blackburn Rovers, and then I think what he's done, Gay, is he's gestured to the referee that it should be a yellow card. He's wagged his finger at Tony Harrington as if to say, I want a booking for Esteve, and in fact what's happened is the reverse. It's a second bookable offence for Maktar Gay, and he is sent off, and Blackburn Rovers will have to play the final 33 minutes of the derby with 10 men.
Well, it's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? You know, from a first-team player out there today, gesturing to a referee to give Esteve a yellow card, and he finds himself walking down the tunnel now because of that. Well, he's learnt the hard way, Joe, hasn't he? You cannot do that in front of the face of a referee. The first thing he's going to do is pick a card out of his pocket. Well, only a yellow card already. Keep your arms by your side, take the foul, you've done your job. Absolutely ridiculous. Down to 10 men against your big rivals, away from home. Look, I don't think it's been his best performance in a Blackburn Rovers shirt. I know he's only young into his career there, but you just do not do that. Silly, silly boy.
57 minutes gone. Burnley 1, the 10 men now of Blackburn 1. Let's get team news at Goodison Park from Ian Danter.
2 changes for Everton from their Premier League defeat at Spurs last weekend. Seamus Coleman, who played in the week in the Cup, keeps his place, and Iliman Ndiaye comes in for Abdoulaye Doucouré. As for Bournemouth, just 1 change from their game against Newcastle on Sunday afternoon last week, and that's a change in goal. Kepa, in on loan from Chelsea, starts in place of Neto, who's left. It is Everton against Bournemouth, live on Talksport 2 at 3 o'clock.
Arsenal 1, Brighton 1. Brighton equalise against the 10 men of Arsenal. João Pedro live on Talksport with the equaliser. Port Vale 1, Doncaster 3 is a latest score. And Gillingham still lead at Chesterfield in League 2, but they are down to 10 men. It is all happening around the grounds, around the country this lunchtime. Here come Burnley on the attack against the 10 men. The referee has said that the ball has gone out of play on that far side of the field. It's a Blackburn throw on the halfway line. How will they cope now without their frontman Maktar Gueye. There have been no substitutions since the sending off, no change from a Blackburn perspective in terms of perhaps bringing on a natural central striker. I wonder how John Eustace will approach the last half an hour, Mickey Gray.
Well, it's going to be so difficult for him, isn't it? We talked about that physical presence that Gueye had and probably why he was chosen in the starting 11 today. Well, he's not there anymore, so it's certainly going to mix up the pack. I wonder whether John Eustace is going to make those changes. I'm just looking over to the far side there, Joe. There is 2 or 3 Blackburn Rovers players out doing a warm-up. But it's going to take it out of your legs. It's still early on in the season, let's not forget that as well, but it's the last thing they needed, Blackburn Rovers, going down to 10 men against a side that were already dominating possession.
And against a side that have such a dominant record in recent times. Burnley just love beating Blackburn in the East Lancashire derby. They've won the last 6, remember, and unbeaten against Blackburn Rovers in the last 9. An hour gone. Burnley won, the 10 men of Blackburn won. And as you've been hearing Everton against Bournemouth, full commentary to come from the Premier League on Talksport 2. And once we're done here at Turf Moor, and Stev for Burnley, who's surely a big favourite to go on and win it now. He's threaded it to the left wing position, and Anthony, couple of step overs from Anthony to tease away from the challenge of Travis. Lucas Perez back to the halfway line, whereas Stev was waiting. Blackburn are sitting very deep now, with the 9 outfield players back behind the ball as Brownhill slides in to steer the ball square to Perez. Burnley, you feel, have got to keep the tempo up at this point and keep their composure. Wasn't something that Maktar Gueye was able to do. It was a ridiculous second yellow. Travis, and now Hedges trying to go for goal from the halfway line for Blackburn, but he's got it all wrong. He sliced it so far wide, it's nearly gone out of play for a throw. They have spotted that Trafford, the goalkeeper, is very much off his line, but that came to absolutely nothing. 1-1.
No, it didn't really threaten the goal, that one from Ryan Hedges, did it? But you can see what he was thinking. Won the ball back high up against Connor Roberts, and then he just had a quick look up, and again James Trafford, he was off his line, but look, we're nigh on near the halfway line when he's took that shot on. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do though, Joe. They're going to have to just wait for their opportunity, defend. Everybody's just got to get themselves into position and make it hard for Burnley to break them down.
Anthony, fleet-footed, lovely right-footed cross, headed away by Hyam from the edge of the 6-yard box, nodded back into the penalty area towards Hannibal, who was jumping this time, and then poked clear by Hedges up to the relative safety of the midway point of his own half. But Blackburn are really under siege now. Burnley were dominating possession really anyway, but that convergence of Burnley players on the ball is only going to get greater and greater with 27.5 minutes of normal time still to go. And Blackburn, a man light. Here is Worrell, just inside opposition territory, making his home debut today. Blackburn have got everybody back behind the ball, defending the 18-yard line at the moment. Here's an opportunity for Roberts to find Foster inside the penalty area. Touch was heavy. Across came Carter at the last moment, and then Beck scrambling, able to help out his teammate in front of the Blackburn fans and smuggle it clear. Burnley throw, but those Blackburn supporters behind the goal, many of them wearing blue and white replica shirts, many of them standing arms folded, look very nervy now, and understandably so. It will be a very long rest of the second half for them.
It's the build-up play that's got to be perfect now, because when you're down to 10 men, the last thing you're going to do is have advanced players in a Blackburn perspective, so they're getting everybody in organised positions. They're making it hard for Burnley to break them down. They've pretty much got to score the perfect goal, and that's them just waiting for an opportunity now, because Blackburn are probably thinking to themselves, OK, we'll take a point now, whereas Burnley, on the other hand, are thinking, well, we need to get this into better positions and quicker. The movement's got to be better, and we've got to create that chance to hopefully win us the game.
All Burnley from left to right. Near side the right, Koleosho delivers a first-time cross. Good header away, backpedaling by Tronstad, and then a foul on Hedges, who looked to race forward in possession from the edge of his own penalty area. Hedges has gone down and stayed down, and now there are appeals from Hannibal and Koleosho towards the assistant referee. It certainly won't change any sort of decision. It was a foul by Hannibal, and Koleosho looks a real outlet, as does Anthony. They are seemingly really hugging those touchline positions and trying to stretch the pitch as wide as they possibly can. Blackburn down to 10 men, 1-1 the score, 20 minutes into the second half, and here is the Blackburn change. The goal scorer Weimann goes off, and it is a more recognised central forward player, Yuki Ohashi, who's had a great start to his Blackburn career since arriving in the summer, who will come on for the first change of the afternoon.
Yeah, freshen things up as well. Just give them maybe an opportunity when they do get into Burnley's half of a little bit of quality and pace in that final third, but it's getting there in the first place. There's not going to be any rush from Blackburn now. When free kicks, wide free kicks, corners, set pieces, anything that they get, they're just going to try and slow the game down, upset the tempo and make it as difficult as they possibly can for Burnley.
It's a lot of game management that Blackburn are going to have to do, but they've become so tough to beat under John Eustace, still unbeaten in the Championship, remember, this season. A draw, you feel, perhaps the best they can hope for at this point, but you never know. And such is the beauty of football, such is the beauty of the Championship. That's a dreadful challenge by Hedges. A late lunge on Roberts, and could he be in trouble here? As the ball goes loose and Travis almost gets in a verbal confrontation with Koleosho and Hannibal, who then goes to ground as Travis, after virtually next to no contact from Koleosho on Travis whatsoever. He's thrown himself to the ground there, the Blackburn captain. That is completely needless and ridiculous, as Hedges, I think, is going to get a yellow card for that late tackle on the Burnley right back Roberts, and Koleosho is going to be booked as well. Well, it was a poor challenge, certainly, from Hedges, but there's no need for Travis to throw himself to the ground like that, Mickey.
No, I mean, Ryan Hedges is a silly boy. They're down to 10 men. He's lunging in on Connor Roberts, and he's out of control. He's very, very fortunate. You know, you can always see those challenges, Joe, given as a red card. And then Lewis Travis going to get involved. He's trying to wind the Burnley players up. Koleosho just hasn't got to react to it. Yes, there was barely any contact with Travis, and no, he's fell to the ground and he stayed on the ground. He's got him a yellow card. Don't give the referee an opportunity to level the things up and make a 10v10.
Well, 2 yellow cards for Burnley, 6 so far for Blackburn, including the 2 yellows for Maktar Gay, who has been sent off. Are you keeping up? I suppose it wouldn't be Derby Day without a few yellow cards, and of course a red card again in this fixture. Arsenal 1, Brighton 1, the 10 men of Arsenal in the Premier League live right now over on Talksport. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 1 is a latest score. Elsewhere in the second tier, and as you heard earlier, Coventry 0, Norwich 1, a latest score in the Championship 2. Norwich looking for their first league win of the campaign. No foul on Koleosho. Every decision now being contested by players and supporters from both sides as Blackburn win a free kick 10 yards shy of halfway. I wonder, Mickey, as we go into the final quarter of the game, the score 1-1, chances suddenly feel like they're at a premium. Will composure win the day for either side, possibly?
Yeah, 100%. And I also think that Tony Harrington, the referee for the game today, has maybe got to get hold of the 2 captains and pull them in together and say, look, everything's getting out of hand at the moment. You know, there's some silly challenges going on. Calm your players down, because somebody else is going to get sent off. But you're right about the composure. It's who wants it the most, but when you get into that final third, who's got the quality?
Blackpool 1, Wycombe 1 remains the latest score in League 1. Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0. 10-man Gillingham 1, Chesterfield 0. Port Vale 1, Doncaster 3. Those matches in League 2. Here come Burnley, 1-1 against the 10 men of Blackburn. Anthony to the corner of the penalty area, dinks it up towards Foster. Foster controls in his chest. He goes away from goal momentarily. Finds Anthony in a tight area. Anthony can't smuggle it through into the path of Brownhill on the underlap, and it's cleared away, thumped away. Downfield by Dolan, doing his defensive duty diligently for Blackburn Rovers. They've still got 21 minutes to see out here at the home of their near neighbours and fiercest rivals amid the Lancashire hills of Burnley. Now Roberts, almost in an inverted position, the right back, out to the inside right channel, and Hannibal. Further wide is Koleosho, looking to dart forward to the right-hand edge of the penalty area. Back to Hannibal, first-time delivery, good one, headed away though by Hyam. It'll drop down to Esteve. He's about 40 yards from goal. He nudges it forward. It's cleared away by Hedges for Blackburn. Can't find Hashi, who is still waiting for his first touch of the game, the Japanese player, who started his Blackburn career with 3 goals in 5 games.
Yeah, he's going to have to fight for scraps today, isn't he? You know, he's not going to get too much service, down to 10 men. He just got to work his socks off, and as that build-up was happening there, Joe, Ryan Hedges just put his hand up to say he needs to come off.
Brownhill, low shot from 35 yards, and it's trickled well wide of goal. And so Ryan Hedges' day may be about to come to an end a little sooner than he would have hoped.
Yeah, he's just limping around, and as soon as he tried to play that pass into Ohashi up front for Blackburn, he waved his arm across to the technical area and say, look, I've had enough, I'm limping around, whether it's his ankle or his Achilles or calf, I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure there's going to be an imminent change.
Activity on both benches now. Scott Parker, arms folded inside his technical area. John Eustace has just turned back towards the bench to have a quick word with his assistants, Matt Gardner, Keith Downing and David Lowe. Here comes another debutant for the afternoon as Hannibal leaves the field, and it's Jeremy Sarmiento, Burnley's new number 7. Remember, we saw him on loan in the Championship at Ipswich last season, scored a couple of memorable goals in their run to the Premier League, and he can make himself an instant hero potentially today. Can Sarmiento, on loan from Brighton, joined yesterday, deadline day. Rotherham 0, Huddersfield 0 remains the latest score in League One, but Huddersfield are down to 10 men. Plenty of red cards across the divisions this lunchtime, including one here for Blackburn, but they're holding firm defensively against their local rivals Burnley, as Ohashi is penalised, shoving the back of Roberts as the ball was trickling out of play for a goal kick to Burnley anyway. All Burnley, the play left to right, and if you're watching from the Jimmy McElroy stand behind the goal, you're probably craning your neck to see what's going on at the other end, Mickey, such is Burnley's dominance.
No, absolutely. I mean, they've been so dominant when they've had the ball. It's what you do with it, Joe, and I'm not quite sure they've done enough with it in the second 45 minutes. Blackburn down to 10 men. It's going to make it more difficult for Burnley to break them down, but this is where you buy the top quality players and the players that can break teams down.
Here is Anthony, lovely touch, down by the corner flag, far side the left, low ball in, steered up into the air by Carter. It'll drop down towards the edge of the penalty area, and now sliding in to try and win it back is Sarmiento. He can't quite do that, hit by Brownhill from range, and it's an effort that crashes high over the top of the crossbar and almost right into the middle of that dividing line between the Blackburn and Burnley fans.
They've normally got better quality than that, Josh Brownhill. That's 2 shots he's had in the space of a minute. Scuffs his first one, and this one just high and wide. Again, I talk about that patience when you get into that final third. That's when you just got to control yourself, calm everything down, and just make great contact with the ball. And at the minute, Burnley in the final third, they're not quite doing enough.
Well, you mentioned Ryan Hedges. He does now leave the field, Mickey. And Lewis Baker, a loan signing this week from Stoke City, is his replacement. It's a Blackburn debut for Lewis Baker, who actually is going up against his former colleague Laurent in the middle of midfield. And another player that you can certainly trust with the atmosphere of a closely fought, keenly contested derby encounter like this. We just mentioned Huddersfield are down to 10 men away at Rotherham, but it's Huddersfield who lead by a goal to 0 in League One. The 10 men are in front. And Joe Hodges got that goal, by the way, as Roberts thumps the ball downfield for Burnley. It's cleared away by a retreating Callum Britton. We'll be at Goodison Park next for you on Talksport 2 for Everton against Bournemouth live and in full. And now Lucas Pires, I think, has gone down on that far side. Thinks he was shoved by Travis coming across, and Travis wagging fingers towards the Brazilian Lucas Pires, who, much like Travis just a few minutes ago, rather threw himself to ground unnecessarily. Very sensibly, the referee, I think, has calmed that down, and it'll be a throw to Blackburn on the far side. Right in between the two dugouts. Long up that far side right touchline from Britain, looking for Ohashi. Ohashi can't get the ball under control, and Esteves won Burnley a throw in their left-back area.
Well, we're getting to that point in the game as well, Joe, aren't we? Whether Scott Parker's going to make those changes that are going to, make something happen in his football match. Manuel Benson, is he a type of player who can maybe give them that little bit of spark in the final third? They've got players on the bench who can certainly do that, but the front three at the moment are not enough for me.
16 minutes of normal time to go. High ball by Laurent, floated forward towards Koleosho, who scampers infield and finds Foster. Little back flick to Brownhill. Koleosho from right to left, through the legs of the defender to find Anthony. Lucas Perez on the underlap. That's a low cross. It's well blocked at the near post by Tronstad. It's a corner to Burnley. That was a lovely flowing move to win their 5th corner of the afternoon. Just over 15 minutes of normal time to play. Burnley 1, 10-man Blackburn 1.
Yeah, when they go through the gears, they look special, Burnley, don't they? But again, it's that quality. The final pass into the box, it's not coming off for them now.
Lucas Perez, it'll be the out-swinging delivery this time. On that favoured left foot, both centre-halves are forward again. It's swinging away from goal towards Worrell, and it's headed away at the near post by Travis. Not very far, only to the edge of the penalty area. Sarmiento stuck out a leg to half win it back, and now it is won back by Lucas Perez with interest. Left-footed delivery high to Foster at the back post. It could reach Koleosho on the half volley again. He tried to pull it back again. It takes a big deflection. That one's going to wriggle out of play, I think, for a throw to Burnley. On this near side there, right. Roberts, right in front of a couple of television cameras, will come across to take it. Burnley desperate for a late winner, for all sorts of reasons. It'll take them temporarily top of the championship for one. Long throw by Roberts into the 6-yard box. Worrell couldn't get the flick on. He'd stayed forward the centre-half. It's come back to Esteve, the other century defender. Crossfield arcing towards the left, and it's brought down by Foster. Foster now sets up Lucas Perez. First time cross, not a good one. Headed away by Travis. It feels like attack v defence with nearly 76 minutes played on Talksport 2 as Foster sticks out a leg, makes a clumsy challenge, and that will be the 9th yellow card of the game overall, the 3rd for a Burnley player as Foster is booked, and that can just allow Blackburn to eat up some time, slow the game down and reset somewhat with 14 minutes left. Mickey Gray.
Well, what I would say about Blackburn, Joe, down to 10 men, they're defending for their lives. Whenever that ball's come anywhere near the 18-yard box, they're in the right positions to clear their lines. They're putting their bodies on the line, which is absolutely fantastic for John Eustace to see. But he'll still be seething inside that he's tied it down to 10 men because of that silly second yellow card for Gay, because it's not really given them the opportunity to take the game to Burnley in the second 45 minutes and maybe ask a question and come away for 3 points. So they're hanging on, but at the moment they're doing it diligently because they've been absolutely fantastic to a man.
Rotherham have got an equaliser against the 10 men of Huddersfield in League One. It's one apiece at the New York Stadium. And Blackburn, I wouldn't necessarily say hanging on. It's not as though that there's a barrage of shots on Ainsley Pearce's goal, but they're on the back foot. Burnley 1, the 10 men of Blackburn 1. 13 minutes to go. Talksport 2 is your home of the EFL. We've got Premier League commentary coming next for you from Goodison Park. Ball forward by Koleosho towards the underlapping run of Jeremy Sarmiento. Not been able to get on the ball just yet. Dom Hyam will sweep it out of play, the former Coventry defender. And it's a throw to Burnley. And Laurent goes back to Worrell, who finds Esteve inside the centre circle, a long way from goal. Blackburn holding firm so far. The 10 men all sat behind the ball. Laurent picks up the ball in a central pocket of space, clips a high right-footed pass down the inside right channel. Owen Beck is there, making his Blackburn debut today. Knocks the ball out of play. I think he was frustrated that he couldn't pluck it out of the air and keep it under control. Couldn't prevent the throw. Burnley go back to Laurent, who feeds Brownhill. Good first touch to take him into the penalty area. Then he slid in on the on-rushing Britain, who'd come across from the defensive positions. Last touch off the Blackburn man, and that will be a throw, a corner rather, to Burnley. It's sometimes hard to see, isn't it, Mickey, with this gantry in the way?
It is very difficult, it is, yeah, but it is a corner. They've got to start making these count, Joe. The quality has to be better. It's not been there in the second half for Burnley.
Lucas Perez again will take it. It's Burnley's 7th corner of the East Lancashire derby so far. 1-1 the score. Lucas Perez into the near post, and it's headed away. It'll drop back towards the Brazilian, who'll let it trickle harmlessly out of play. Second corner in quick succession for Burnley. It's taken quickly. Back out wide to Lucas Perez from Brownhill. Not a good delivery. Headed away by the first man and flicked further clear now by Baker for Blackburn, having just come on. Now Jayden Anthony, inside left channel. Good close control from Anthony once more. Back out to the left and Koleosho. Koleosho to dink one in towards Foster. Headed away by Hyam this time. Something of an aerial bombardment for Blackburn to have to defend against at this point. Burnley looking for the breakthrough. They have such a good record against their local rivals. And Anthony has surged into the box. It's a brilliant weaving run. He's held it up. He's laid it back. Brownhill's first-time snapshot is blocked by Baker. It just won't go in for Burnley. They just cannot quite find that effort on target that they need with 11 minutes plus added time to go.
Well, this front line are running out of ideas, and I think that's why we're going to see some changes from Burnley here as well, Joe. You know, they've got quality on the bench. Houtonjiu's been involved in a couple of games at the start of the season. I talked about Manuel Benson. They've actually got Jay Rodriguez on the bench as well, just to ask different questions and break down this solid line of Blackburn Rovers in the second 45 minutes.
Well, it's Koleosho who's going off, and Laurent likewise. Manuel Benson onto the field for the first time this season, and Jay Rodriguez, who is Burnley born and bred, knows what this game means, on as a substitute as well. With 10 minutes plus added time remaining on Talksport 2. Bright sunshine in East Lancashire. Wide on the right immediately. A first touch for the diminutive Benson. Benson, the number 10. Back to the halfway line, and Worrell. Obviously, Rodriguez has taken up a position in the central area as Esteve has given it away. Blackburn maybe have a break on here. Dolan's pushed it forward towards the right now, Hashi. And it's a good sliding challenge by Esteve on Hashi. I think that last touch will take it out of play for a goal kick indeed. It has done that. And the Burnley fans applaud the decision of the referee. Blackpool 1, Wycombe 2 is the latest score in League One for you. All the goals as they go in from around the grounds around the country with Adrian Durham on Talksport from 2:30 this afternoon. If you want commentary of Everton against Bournemouth, stick with us on Talksport 2. And then whoever you support, you can have your say in the game day phone in from 5:30 on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. What can the live wire Benson do, and can Jay Rodriguez have his say? Only ever scored once against Blackburn in his career, and that was for West Bromwich Albion. Burnley, is that a sign they're going to go a slightly more direct route? We will see. Foster and Rodriguez onto the field against the 10 men of Blackburn. It's still 1-1 into the 82nd minute now. Benson trying to isolate the retreating Beck on the near side of the field. Beck slides in, makes an excellent challenge. Good work by Beck. And now Hashi scampers towards the halfway line, rolls the ball back to Baker in a defensive midfield area. Baker thumps the ball downfield, right down the middle. No outlet for Blackburn. Easy for Chappard, the Burnley goalkeeper, to build a new attack from the back.
Yeah, Owen Beck's been absolutely fantastic in the second half. You know, criticised him a little bit first 45 minutes. You know, he was easy to get at, wasn't he? But in the second half, he's certainly stood to his task. 1v1 situations being excellent. As of all the Blackburn defenders, to be honest with you, Joe, because, you know, they've had to be.
Had over 20 minutes with 10 men, Blackburn, but there is still plenty of time left for them to see out. Sarmiento with the quick weaving feet, inside right channel. Good sliding challenge by Beck once more, and this time it took a double deflection, and it's out of play for a goal kick to Blackburn. He is in the latest Wales squad, Owen Beck, under the new manager, Craig Bellamy. Cardiff 0, Middlesbrough 2 is now a latest score, and Burnley are going to make another substitution. It's CJ Egan-Riley, the centre-half, who's going to come on. I wonder whether that will be a straight swap. Is there a problem for either of the Burnley centre-halves? It's Esteve whose number is up, and he's moving a little gingerly after that challenge a few moments ago. And so Scott Parker maybe with that in mind. They're taking no chances whatsoever. The former Manchester City man Egan-Riley comes on.
Yeah, can either play centre-half or right-back as well, Joe, but he will slot into that centre-half position. And I think Esteve, after he made a brilliant lunging challenge, I think it was on Travis on a breakaway from Blackburn, I think he might have just stretched his hamstring a little bit, so got to be cautious early on in the season, make that change. But I just want to see what Burnley are going to do in these last few minutes of the game with the two forward players that they've got on the pitch at the moment.
Jayden Anthony direct and quick running from the wingman into the penalty area now. The angle against him as he gets to the dead ball line. The deflected cross off Britton goes behind. It's yet another Burnley corner. Heading towards double figures, and with even more aerial ability on the field now that Rodriguez has taken to the pitch. Egan-Riley's come forward straight away. What a moment it would be for him if he were to score, having just come on. Lucas Pires with the delivery, once more left-footed, once more out-swinging, high to the edge of the 6-yard box again, and it's headed away once more. Nodded back into the penalty area, miscue clearance, ball flies up into the air, punched away by Pires in front of the 6-yard line before Anthony could beat the goalkeeper to it. Brave goalkeeping from Ainsley Pires.
Had to come off his line on this occasion, Ainsley Pires. Didn't really do it first half.
Been well protected by those in front of him. It stays 1-1. Blackburn down to 10. Crossed by Benson is in swinging, and it's thumped away by Tyrese Dolan this time. There's no respite here for Blackburn, it feels like, as Burnley win it back again. Anthony quicker to the second ball. Brownhill slides in, blocked off by Tronstad. Now Blackburn have got possession. Out on the right with Dolan. Infield here to Travis, and suddenly it's 3 against 4. Here is Travis on the edge of the penalty area. Can he wriggle himself into a shooting position? He's laid it square to Baker. Baker the substitute. Low left-footed effort, and it's gathered by the goalkeeper, James Trafford. It was a tame effort with nothing behind it. Just over 5 minutes plus added time to go. What a threading East Lancashire derby here on Talksport 2, your home of the EFL. Blackburn looking a bit ragged. They're going to make another change shortly, but once more Burnley come forward. Foster's flick, too casual edge of the box. Sliding in to knock it away is Tronstad. Again, it's only the most temporary of reprieves. Burnley have it again. Inside right channel. Benson, good tackle again by Beck. That's another tremendously timed sliding challenge. I actually thought a goal kick was going to be given. In the end, it's a corner. Port Vale 2, Doncaster Rovers 3 in League 2. Goal back for Port Vale. Here's Mickey.
Well, Beck's hurt himself in making that challenge here as well, Joe, and I just talked about how well he's done in the second half. You think about Collie Oshaw and now Benson. He's had a really tough afternoon, there's no doubt about it, against 2 quality wide players, but he's been fantastic, and it looks like it might be his last part in this game. I don't know if he's going to continue, but I hope he does, because at the moment they're defending for their lives, Blackburn. If they get something out of this game, it'll feel like a win.
1-1 it stays. Blackburn down to 10 men after the sending off of Gay. The corner from Benson was taken short. Now he's rolled the ball towards the edge of the penalty area where Sarmiento can whip it. A lovely cross. Good header away by Carter. It'll drop down to Brownhill. He's 5 yards from the edge of the penalty area, but Burnley can't quicken the pace of that attack. Sarmiento, 30 yards out. Again, slightly right of centre. Roberts, under no pressure whatsoever, has turned the ball wide to Benson. Edge of the penalty area. Benson with the curling effort, miles high and wide into the away section of that end to our right-hand side. There's some activity on the Blackburn bench as Callum Britton goes down. Blackpool have got a quick equaliser again at home to Wycombe Wanderers in League 1. It's Blackpool 2, Wycombe 2. Everton against Bournemouth to come on Talksport 2, and my, what drama we've had here, but how disappointed, Mickey, will Scott Parker be if Burnley can't find a late winner? Do they really deserve to find a late winner? Have they created enough really in this second half?
I think when you look at the final third of Burnley and the quality that they've got at their disposal, I don't think they have showed enough in the second half, Joe. I really don't. First half they were direct, they got half a yard, the wide players, and they put the ball into the area, which is where the goal came from. But from that moment, they've just tried to be a little bit too cute for me, a little bit too clever. They've run out of ideas. Certainly the front three that were on at the beginning of the game. I know they've made changes now, but if you've got Jay Rodriguez on the pitch, go direct. He's got Lyle Foster alongside him. You know, he'll get knockdowns. You might get that opportunity. It might look a little bit sloppy and scrappy, but if it wins you a football match, then so be it. But you're right, they have not showed enough. It's been Blackburn dogged defending, and I think they deserve something out of the game. Look, still a little way to go, but I think John Eustace would be thrilled to pieces.
Well, Blackburn have really suffered against Burnley over recent years. No win in this fixture since 2010, and haven't managed to avoid defeat since 2014. 6 on the spin as that change is made. Leo Duru, who's a very exciting young right back, onto the field in place of Britton, who cannot carry on. Duru, who played earlier this season against Stockport in the League Cup for what was his senior debut. This is his league debut now. And what a way to make your championship introduction. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1. The 10 men are holding firm. Blackburn Rovers, 90 seconds plus added time to go. There could be quite a bit of added time here on Talksport 2. Forward by Beck, right up the middle. Nowhere near Ohashu. He's had a very lonesome existence in this game. Has Yuki Ohashi barely had a touch.
He's just doing a job for the team, isn't he, Joe? I think, as a striker and you're down to 10 men, I think that as soon as you come onto the field, you're just going to be running around and working your socks off and trying to keep the score down and hope for that one opportunity. Well, he's barely touched the ball.
Last minute of normal time. There'll be a big roar from the Burnley fans, no doubt, when the added time is announced. But their run of victories in the East Lancashire derby could be minutes away from coming to an end. Brownhill midway inside the Blackburn half. He stroked the pass wide on the angle to find Anthony. He had Lucas Perez on the overlap, but Lucas Perez's run was checked. Has to go back to Egan Riley instead. Lucas Perez with a slightly heavy touch, and Joe Worrell safety first. He's nudged a clever ball up the left-hand touchline, and Anthony can keep it in play. He tried to juggle it over the head of the defender, and Anthony goes down right on the edge of the penalty area. Nothing given by the referee. He was sandwiched in between two Blackburn shirts, really dangerously there, from the perspective of the 10 men. Burnley on the attack again, just cannot find a route to goal. 1-1 it remains. Stoppage time on the way very shortly. Lyle Foster's got possession. He's having his shirt tugged down by the dead ball line. He's turned away from Owen Beck. He's played it back to Benson. Benson hangs up the cross. Goalkeeper punches away. Pears got there before Rodriguez. 7 added minutes. Plenty of time for a winner, Mickey Gray.
Well, you're right about that cheer. I think they were hoping for maybe a little bit longer.
Oh, and Egan Riley has slipped, and here goes Ohashi down the right-hand side for Blackburn. He's into the penalty area. He can't get past Egan Riley a second time. Egan Riley recovered well. It just for a second, Mickey, looked like Ohashi might be in there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was actually trying to do as well, Joe. I mean, he's on goal. He's got 2 defenders around him. He had a little look up to see if he had any teammates. He never really had anybody there. And it looked like a shot come cross. I don't really know what he was trying to do. He should have tried to just take his defender on and maybe get something to happen for himself. That's the opportunity he's been waiting for. We know he's got good feet. He's got a wonderful goal against Derby on opening day. Little dink over the goalkeeper. I wanted to see a little bit more quality from him in that situation.
Well, now Blackburn have got a free kick. The 10 men are very much delaying the taking of it. It's about 15 yards from the corner of the penalty area that they haven't sent anyone forward. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1. Rotherham 2, the 10 men of Huddersfield 1. Rotherham heading for their first league win of the season. And Dolan for Blackburn, and they've gone straight to the corner flag. They've got 5.5 minutes to try and see out by that corner flag. It's been cleared away by Burnley. Blackburn, though, have it back, and for one of the first times, particularly since going down to 10 men, Blackburn have comfortable possession of the ball on the halfway line with the excellent Beck, who looks a very good alternative to another highly rated young left-back in Harry Pickering, who was injured today. Back it goes to Pears, the goalkeeper, for Blackburn, who's been very well protected in the second half. A long, high-raking ball upfield. Worrell with the header away for Burnley. 5 minutes of added time to go. Foster's been fouled by Beck. Free kick to Burnley, just inside opposition territory. Roberts is just going to place the ball down and knock it square to Worrell. There's a young Burnley fan in front of us who's just desperate for a winning goal. He's hitting the side of the gantry whenever they come close. He'll go mad if they score the winner. As will about 20,000 here at Turf Moor. Manuel Benson near side the right for Burnley. Takes up possession, corner of the penalty area on the near side of the field. It's a right-footed delivery over the head of Jay Rodriguez at the back post. Jaden Anthony will keep it in play. Rodriguez and Foster waiting for another cross. Lucas Perez goes infield and square to Brownhill. Back to the halfway line and Egan Riley. They're doing a really good job, Blackburn, of forcing Burnley to go wide. And they go wide again this time to Benson on the near side of the right. It's still 1-1. Benson trying to jink beyond the double pairing of Baker and Beck. Back he goes to Worrell, steered back out wide to Benson. Benson looking menacing, skips infield onto his left. He's being tracked all the way by Beck, and there was a foul. It's a free kick to Burnley, very close to the edge of the penalty area, right of centre as we look at it, almost the corner of the box. And I think while the angle may be too tight for a shot, certainly a very dangerous position for a cross, Mickey Gray, with the score 1-1 halfway through added time.
Yeah, just enough contact on Benson, wasn't there, from Owen Beck, for him to go down onto his knees. But a dangerous situation this can be for Burnley. They need that quality. They've got the physical height and the physical presence in the 18-yard area. Just need the quality from the set piece now.
3 men in the wall for Blackburn Rovers. Connor Roberts and Manuel Benson are the two standing over it. We're in the 94th minute on Derby Day. Benson, well, I think he was going to leave it for Roberts. The referee's going to ask for this to be retaken. There's a Blackburn player who's gone down onto his knees. I think it's Travis, the captain, inside the penalty area. Referee Harrington just comes across to deal with all of that. And the free kick will be whipped towards goal by Benson. It was far too ambitious. The angle was far too tight. And he's got it all wrong. He's curled it high over the top of the crossbar and behind and away for a goal kick. The 10 men of Gillingham still lead Chesterfield by a goal to nil. And Chesterfield are now down to 10 men in League Two. Gillingham, who are top of League Two. And some of the Burnley fans, Mickey, have got their heads in their hands, knowing that really this is a game that, with the numerical advantage, they'll feel they should have won. Blackburn have had to play over half an hour with 10 men, but Rovers have nearly escaped with a draw.
Yeah, and just silly decisions like Manuel Benson a moment ago. What is he doing trying to score a goal from that free kick? You know, you've got all your centre-halves and the big lads have came up to get their head on the end of it and win the football match. And you put a bit of quality in towards Blackburn's goal like that. Don't deserve it.
Blackburn have won it back with Ohashi. Dolan is racing up the middle. Dolan surges forward. He tries to play it square. He has played it square, and the shot is hammered over the top. What a chance for Blackburn. The 10 men to win the game, and it was Travis, the captain, local lad, who couldn't keep the ball down, couldn't keep his effort on target. That could have been such a memorable derby winner.
Oh, I mean, what an opportunity. The one that you've been waiting for. You've just got a Blackburn Rovers player on the ground at the moment. There must have been a bit of contact in the build-up there. But as that ball falls to Lewis Travis, you know, you've just got to keep your head down, get your laces through it, keep it low and ask the question. But he's not really showed the quality. I mean, he skied his shot over the back of the crossbar, and you don't get too many chances, certainly when you're down to 10 men, to win a football match.
Just over a minute to go, possibly a little more than that. Added time on added time, you never know. It is a minimum of 7 added minutes, and we have played 6 of those. Burnley 1, 10-man Blackburn 1, live on Talksport 2. One more chance maybe for a late twist. Brownhill crosses halfway in possession for Burnley. Square ball to Roberts in the centre circle. Egan Riley under pressure. Mohashi has to go back to the goalkeeper. There was a slight nervousness about Burnley there, a sense that they've got to be careful they don't lose it right at the end.
Yeah, they want them to go forward, the supporters. That's the frustrating thing we can hear here, Joe, and you can understand why. When you're playing against a side that have got 10 men, you're expected to go and win the game, and they're not doing it.
Foul on Benson on the halfway line, and Benson has pulled up a little bit here. Slowly, gingerly, he gets to his feet, and Worrell and Egan Riley are going to be sent forward here by Burnley for maybe the last action of the game. 96 minutes and 40 or so seconds on the clock. Egan Riley, Worrell, Rodriguez, Foster all forward. It's a free kick that's only just inside the Blackburn half, and the 10 men are holding a very high defensive line. Not sure what Roberts is gesturing as he stands over the free kick for Burnley. He's just surely going to have to pump this long. That he does. Floated high and deep to Worrell at the back post. Headed away, and the referee has spotted a foul, and that will be a free kick to Burnley, right on the edge of the penalty area. There are oohs and ahs and gasps in the crowd. John Eustace having words with the fourth official. The free kick's taken quickly. Oh, and Taylor thought he was in, but he's going to ask for it back, the referee. It's right on the edge of the box, this, and now there's a coming together in the penalty area as Taylor is rolling along the ground, having gone down inside the 18-yard box. They tried to take the free kick quickly, did Burnley, and there might be a bit of play acting involved, not for the first time today. This time from Taylor, and we really Foster, and we really don't need to see that, as Foster was put clear on goal from a free kick that Burnley wanted to take quickly. The referee quickly said no, we're not doing that, and then Foster in the ensuing melee has gone to ground. But there might be a shot on here from the free kick for Burnley, Mickey, when it is taken.
Yeah, I mean, silly from Foster. I mean, he's rolled around 6 or 7 times on the ground. You see he's back on his feet now, so it wasn't that much of a big problem. But this is a nightmare situation for Blackburn. You know, we're ticking the seconds away now, not minutes. They've given that foul away from the long ball into the area. It's on the far left-hand side of the corner of the 18-yard box from where we are now, Joe. This is a big opportunity for Burnley, probably their last of the game. Don't mess up like Manuel Benson did moments earlier. You know, it's a better angle for a shot, I have to say that. But whether they put the ball into the box or whether they're aiming for goal, make sure there's quality behind it.
Does Brownhill go for goal from here, I wonder?
He's got the quality, no doubt about it, but it looks like Foster, just walking away from it now. This is a big chance for Brownhill.
We are in the 99th minute. Burnley 1, the 10 men of Blackburn 1. Free kick, edge of the penalty area. It is Josh Brownhill for Burnley to curl it high over the top. That will surely be that. And indeed that is the final whistle, and the 10 men of Blackburn escape with a very good point as the East Lancashire derby ends level. For Blackburn, the unbeaten start to the league season continues. There's a flare that's been thrown onto the pitch from the away end, but Blackburn have finally stopped that rot, the run of defeats against their near neighbours, though it is still no win for Blackburn Rovers in this fixture since 2010. Burnley have seen a chance to make history with what might have been 7 straight derby wins over their near neighbours come to an end. They laboured really after Maktar Gay was sent off for a second bookable offence 57 minutes into the match. At that point you really expected Burnley to go on and win the game, but despite lots of possession, lots of territory, they never really fashioned that clear-cut opportunity. Foster opened the scoring in the first half, and Weiman's excellent equaliser ultimately enough to earn the 10 men a point. Burnley 1, Blackburn 1.
And it was an incredible equaliser from Andy Weiman. It ultimately means it's the first drop points at Turf Moor under the new boss, Scott Parker. Will he feel like that is a missed opportunity there, Mickey Gray?
Oh, without a doubt. I think when any side goes down to 10 men, you expect to go on and win the football match, Chris. And I think the disappointing thing for Scott Parker is that his side never turned up in the second half. Yes, a lot of possession, but you count the chances that they had. No, I'm scratching my head to think, did they have any clear-cut chances? And I don't think they did. All down to the defender from Blackburn, of course. But yeah, that's 2 points dropped in my eyes.
2 points dropped, but a point gained for Blackburn, who, as Joe Shennan pointed out, they remain unbeaten at the beginning of this championship season. Which of those is best equipped, do you think, for the long, arduous championship season to put together a push, at least for the playoffs, if not promotion?
Well, I think you look at Burnley's squad, don't you, Chris? And I think everybody's probably got them as favourites to maybe go on and win this championship. They've got too much quality. They've got players who've got experience in the Premier League, never mind the championship. So you'd think they'd go on some, incredible runs this season and make it really difficult for anybody to stay with them. But I've been really impressed with Blackburn so far this season. John Eustace's record over the last 11 games, if I go back into last, has been very good. And, I think that what it shows today is players are on side, that they're buying into what John's telling, because when you go down to 10 men, it's very difficult. They've defended for their lives today, and they deserve that point.
Yeah, and we should really direct people to wherever it is they see their championship goals. The Andy Weiman one is one not to be missed.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's instinct. It's a player who knows where the back of the net is. I don't know if you remember the goal from Papa Cisse for Newcastle against Chelsea many years ago. It's very similar to that. Trafford's just off his line. It's the only place he can really put it. He slices across it on the volley, and it's an outstanding finish. Yeah, I mean, it'll be up there with one of the goals of the season, no doubt about it.
It certainly will be. I asked you earlier, Mickey, if you'd ever scored a goal like that. Immediately you pulled one out. You said Birmingham City. I remember scoring in my early fledgling season at Sunderland. We found the goal, Mickey. It's a worldie.
I refuse to watch it. I refuse to watch it.
Was it in black and white?
It was in red and white, just about in colour, but it was not a volley. So disqualification for that one. Mickey Gray, Joe Shennan, great to have you with us this afternoon.
Thanks, Chris.
So this is EFL Live on Talksport 2. A great game. A combustible game at Turf Moor. It finished Burnley 1, Blackburn 1. Coming up next, we'll build up to our live and exclusive commentary game from the Premier League. It's Everton against Bournemouth.